Hello.
Hello, everyone.
How are we doing? How
Everyone
are we feeling?
here. Are we feeling good?
I'm feeling stressed.
You all. Tell the people about it. Look.
I love my ladies.
We love our ladies.
We love Janet.
We love
Chapel.
We love Chapel.
And it's like, girls.
We love girls.
Not now.
Not now.
Not now.
Not now. Not now.
Not now.
Breaking news: Mark Robinson entire North Carolina. I know. I did see.
Oh,
that.
I didn't see that.
Oh my
Hi.
God. Yeah, the Mark Robinson, the Republican nominee for governor for North Carolina. Have you been following this?
I just saw. I was
a disaster.
Out of town, so I was like, girl, I don't know.
His entire staff just quit. The campaign is.
I mean, that makes sense.
Imploding.
Of course. I mean, wouldn't you if you were found on a porn website calling yourself a black Nazi? Like,
I know.
But it's like, it's like, I never stand you. I didn't believe in the Rhythm Nation because of you.
Sure. Hi, Matt's friends from your 30 years ago.
We love
What are your
that.
favorite episodes?
I mean, I love a Thanksgiving episode, especially as the season's coming around. So there's several Thanksgiving ones. The one where Brad Pitt's a guest is very good. And the one where they play football out during the whole episode, also very good. There's many great episodes of Friends. Holiday Armadillo, actually a classic.
Holiday Armadillo. What?
Holiday Armadillo. This is when Ross is going to dress up as Santa for his son Ben, but they were out of Santa suits, so he dressed as the Holiday Armadillo, and he was like trying to teach his child about being Jewish because he's half Jewish. Ben is, and Ross is Jewish. So it's a great episode.
Great. I love that.
Trump said that if and when he loses in November, he won't be running again. I love that.
Oh, he did say that?
I mean,
shut the fuck
up. Republicans must be so happy because, like, guys,
oh, sure.
You've got to find a real candidate.
Yeah.
Entire staff quit because he likes golden showers. I think it's more the black Nazi stuff.
Did y'all see your friend's episode of Survivor? No, because I'm still in my
oh, right.
binge.
He's watching it in order from the beginning of time.
I did hear what happened, though.
I did too. Sorry, John Lovett.
But you know what? You did good. You got on. Proud of him.
Absolutely.
He did, but like he's a liar.
Yes, that's true. I was just hoping.
That's true. I forgot about that.
I need some good news after the Chapel and Janet news. If you're feeling down, at least you're not puffy. Ooh, isn't that the truth? Have y'all seen Gaga's Joker press looks? I saw something. Yes, Gaga teasing new music. That's exciting. I mean, the single's coming out, next month? Yeah, it's coming out in October.
I hope it's not when I'm out of town.
Oh, yeah. When are you? You're out like the weekend of the 13th?
9th to the 15th
right.
or something.
And then I'm out up until the 4th. So anytime after the 15th.
Anytime after the 15th, Lady Gaga. Thank you.
He was great on that one episode, though. Good. Breaking news. Some people began to question the race of Janet Jackson's nephew, niece, and Asa, too, just because don't question biracial identities and use Google Miss Jackson.
It's like we'll talk about it. It's in the headline because we're going to talk about it.
Just started Hacks and I can see why it won at the Emmys. Great show. I mean, Hacks, and the thing is, Olaf, it gets better every single season. So you're gonna love it as it goes on. Feels like no one's good anymore. And the thing is, I mean, again, we'll talk about it. I'm not even asking you to be like on the right side of history on everything. But if you don't know what you're talking about, then just I mean,
then say I don't know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I
don't know. And that is, I mean, we'll talk about, but that is, to be fair, something that Janet said. She was like, I heard something. And it's like, okay, well, at least that's a somewhat admission that you don't necessarily know.
And when she was pressed, she was like, you know what? I shouldn't say because I don't really know. But this is what I've heard, which is fair. But you should have been like, we need to take all of that out. We need to take everything I just said and move it off the record. Sure. Because I sound like a fucking idiot.
Sure.
I'm just going to blame Janet's age on her comments. Maybe she's on the... I mean, she's not that old, guys. I think someone pointed out in the Discord that she
just had a kid.
She's younger than Kamala.
Yeah. Janet Jackson just produced a child.
And and then there was the apology, which we'll talk about, which was an act like... which was some brave, probably fan. The apology was then rebuffed.
Yeah.
Janet famously says she doesn't like talking. She did. And maybe after, I mean, we are just talking about everything we're going to talk about, but maybe now's the time to not do it.
Sure.
Maybe it's over.
She will never talk again.
Interview-wise, maybe it's over.
Hi, Denzel.
Is
it Denzel Washington?
Summarize 1, 4, 3 in 3 words, please. I mean, I didn't finish 1, 4, 3, but it just, to me, anonymous. I would just call it sounds like a record anyone could make and like not terribly interesting. Like a lot of people are tearing it apart. And to me, I'm like, it's not even that everything is actively bad, but it's like if you told, and no shade to Grace, we love everybody. If you told me this was an Ava Max album, I'd believe you. Okay. Like it's just like this is, and Katie has such a specific point of view.
Yeah.
That I'm like, remember Peacock?
Remember Peacock.
And that's again outside of all of the Dr. Luke of it all. It just doesn't like be interesting.
Did you see Gaga's dad?
I saw that.
Interesting.
Tough week for the pop girlies. But again, at least it's her dad and not her. You know, Gaga didn't do anything. I didn't finish as a perfect description of 143. I didn't. Did you ever finish? Because you said you listened to the
I listened to the first 4 tracks, and then I parked and got out of my car.
Janet needs to take her own advice and let's wait
a while. I love that. One for these basically
so
ChatGPT's version of early 2010s pop music. It's the most AI generated.
That's the thing. If someone had said this was made by AI, I'd be like, oh wow,
yeah,
that tracks. 143 is not bad. It's just not good. It feels like an album of demos that never got mastered. The world today is so crazy. Nobody could write this crap. Y'all are my faves when it comes to videos and talks. Oh, thank you. Is Janet a secret Republican? Can anyone remember if she's ever been political in the past? How did she respond to Obama? I mean, we know Rhythm Nation. We know she's made political records in the past when she was much, younger. But also her manager, Randy Jackson, not Randy Jackson of American Idol fame, but her brother, Randy Jackson, is like, there are photos of him with RFK
Yeah, I
Jr.
didn't know this about Randy Jackson.
He follows Trump and Candace Owens. So, like, I think she just has a MAGA person in her ear.
Yeah.
And it was sad.
I'm early for once.
Yes, hi Ty, welcome.
You're never early. You're right on time.
Always on time.
You're never late. You're never early. You're always where you should be.
143 is only 33 minutes. You couldn't get through that. Look, we're always on the move.
Listen, and sometimes you park your car and you gotta go back to where you're going.
Yes, it's true.
Randy being Mag is surprising and not surprising, unfortunately. And the Chapel run of it all. It's been a rough pop scene this week, this day, the last 24 hours.
You guys could actually be really great music reviewers, journalists. I could see y'all working for Pitchfork, especially Palmer, since he's mean. I'm not mean. I just, you guys, the lighting looks so good today. You two are glowing. Well, thank you
so much.
I mean, now that we're moving into the more, fall, winter months, we don't have to deal with the outside sunset bothering us. And maybe this time next summer, I'll have gotten blackout curtains. Y'all going to short and sweet concert.
Blackout curtains.
I know I shouldn't, but I want the visuals always to be top tier.
Yeah, but how many times are we going to be re-recording that?
Just a few months right here, All right. I'll see.
I think you're too hard on yourself. Everyone tell Matt Palmer he's beautiful.
Thank you.
Any lighting.
I'm just a perfectionist. I like when things are right.
Should I make a video that's like, hey, watch our... Guys, we're live right now. Come join us.
We're
literally in the middle of it, and I just didn't take a video yet. Hi.
It'll be fun.
We're having fun.
Yes. Pitchfork is bankrupt and supposed to be folded into GQ. 2K Mats are too good for that. That's funny. Happy first day of fall, everyone. Yes, we love that. Palmer isn't mean. Thank you. I mean, but I'm not offended if someone calls me mean. I wouldn't say I'm mean.
I wouldn't say you're not mean.
I would say I'm vocal about my opinions and that I'm not as good at
cushioning
as you are.
Yeah, I know.
You are very good at cushioning. If you're like, I need to be nice. Because sometimes, spoiler, we have, not like, there are certain types of videos we make that other people are involved in.
Yeah.
In which I literally need to couch my harshest criticisms.
Sure.
One may be coming up. And those, I'm more silent than I am. I will find the good things, but I'm not one to, I can't fake it. I'm not good at faking it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Palmer, what are your plans for Spain? Well, we're going to Madrid tomorrow. We'll talk about it. But yeah, I'm going to be there for 10 days, and we're going to Madrid for the first half, and then the second half we're going to southern Spain. Jackson's made most of the plans because he is much more plugged in and much more historical. He wants to go to every museum and everything, and so I'm just along for the ride.
He's so historical.
Oh,
he's a dinosaur. That's how historical
I'm not saying he's an elder, but I'm just saying
he is older.
He's older, but not by a lot. Not by a lot.
He doesn't have much longer to go, guys.
That's not true.
It's the end of the road for him.
Not the end of the road. Uh-oh. We're having issues with the connection, but hopefully we'll come back up. I feel like sometimes
it's the end of the road for us, actually.
We'll be back. Oh, see, we're already coming back.
We're already coming back. Okay.
I was listening to Taylor's Last Kiss, and my dad said, that's a nice song. Good for your dad. That's taste. Last Kiss is lovely. Absolutely. Do you think 143 was with another producer? At least people could be kinder with Katie. Yeah, I think people probably would have been disappointed, but it's like the Dr. Luke of it all just like automatically makes people not want to like it.
Sure.
And so maybe they would have been less.
It doesn't help things, but like, I mean, Dr. Luke did have a hit recently.
He did. Like the Doja Cat stuff does well.
Okay.
And and like Super Freaky Girl by Nicki Minaj did well.
That's true. That was a little while ago.
It was a little while ago. But it's also like people think of Katie and Dr. Luke as a thing, and like Katie and Kesha already have a thing. And so it just would have been wise of her to avoid him. But, here we are.
All right, here we go. I'm sorry. I'm putting the videos on the social medias.
Less than 50 days till the election is crazy to think about. I mean, we're getting close. Sometimes I feel like y'all are a couple. So, sorry if I'm wrong. You are wrong, but we're a couple of friends.
Couple of friends.
Exactly. We're a couple of people who support each other.
Yeah.
Work together.
Yeah.
Happily for a long time.
For very long.
Very
for
long time.
Longer than some of you have been alive.
I hope not. If you're under 11 years old, please sign off.
Under almost 13.
Is it almost 13?
Well, since we've known each other.
Yes.
We've known each other
together.
almost 13 years.
Yeah.
And if we're counting the times we went to NYU together, even though we didn't know each other. But
That
we were
count.
in the same circles.
We knew some of the same people. That's true. That's true. My friend and I are flying to Egypt one day after the U.S. election. We are giving Trump 2 weeks to have a temper tantrum before we return for Thanksgiving. That's funny.
By the way, Palmer said Republicans need to pick a better candidate. The sad thing is with the Republican Party that it's not going back to before Trump. It's a loss.
Well, then
I feel like it'll take time.
I pray they do. Just because it's like, I just love to vote in an election that doesn't feel like life and death. And I keep saying that. And of course, we're going to keep voting no matter what. And I've yet to vote for a non-Democrat, and I can't see that in my future. But if they had a person that I was like, oh, if you win, the world's not going to turn to dust.
Sure.
That would be lovely.
It'll just be like, remember in 2004 when I was kind of just like, oh, I really hope John Kerry wins. And then he didn't. And I was just like, oh, shucks.
Right.
That's like what it.
Sure. And he was awful too.
Yes. George Bush. Not like is a different thing than
right. It's like if George Bush lost, I assume he would just leave. Like he wouldn't.
He would have been normal.
He would have been normal.
He would have been normal. At least George Bush was normal.
Not bright.
No,
not bright.
But normal. A normal dim.
Normal. I want to meet y'all someday. Damn, why y'all not at 200K yet? Hey, we're hoping to get to 100K and we can get those fucking plaques.
Oh God, it's gonna feel so good.
The moment we get those plaques, you're never gonna hear the end of us. It'll be in every video from here on out.
How did y'all deal with NYU tuition? I'm paying for it.
I mean, I paid for it. We paid for it.
Sure, I will be done shortly.
Oh, that's exciting.
I know.
That I'm telling you, that day is everything. Because it's like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Remember how money comes to my wallet?
Remember how life feels?
You remember how it's a lovely feeling.
I don't have this daunting thing hanging over me.
My first election was this last presidential one, 2020. Oof. I wish we could online vote like the VMAs. I'd still be voting blue to help you guys out. Oh, thank you so much. Y'all outlasted Damon and Joe's friendship partnership. So there's that. Who are Damon and Joe?
Damon and Joe.
I mean, we outlasted No Shade, Jesus and Mero.
Who are they?
They're podcasters who were very big for a long time. And they're both very funny, and they were very funny together, but they had like a very bad falling out.
What's our falling out going to be?
I mean, it's got to be about...
I mean, you know me. I don't fall out with anybody. I truly don't. Like,
it would take so much.
Like, you would have to kill my mother.
I would never.
I am a person
Mama
who it's
Steele.
just like, if there is some point of tension between me and someone else,
Then
it's
we're
just
gonna
like,
figure it
oh,
out.
I'm going to fix this.
Right. That's the thing is like, I think at this point we work so well together. I can't foresee it. Like, if anything, it's like Matt Steele like is a regular on a TV show and doesn't have time, or I'm like, on tour and making music and writing for Mariah and don't have time. But like, I can't imagine we'd be like, ugh, I'm mad at you.
I know, yeah. Yeah. So
you never know. I mean, maybe play this back after we've dragged each other through the mud.
True,
in
in
press.
5 years.
Yes.
Let's see. It's just like, did you hear that? Like, Tia and Tamara? Oh, no. finding that out on Twitter this week was
That
just
was also
that like they're not
even,
close
I
anymore?
didn't even have that on my list, but it's sad.
That's sad.
And it's like, I mean, maybe there's a good reason. And the thing is, I do know that, is it Tamara that's married to the Fox News correspondent?
Think, Tamara's husband is.
So it's that's hard. And I feel like that is something that's very lucky for, I think both of us, is like no one in our like immediate family are like super big. Because there are people who are like, I just cannot talk about politics with my family at all because I have super big Trump supporters very close to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that must be tough. I can't imagine.
And people whose like families are like torn apart because of it. It's just like,
No.
oof, I can't imagine.
Y'all falling out would be insulting Steele's hair. No.
I don't care if he insults my hair. Because I'll be like, I know it looks horrible today.
No, I'm always the one that's like, it looks fine.
No.
He'd be insulting his own hair. Desus and Mero were huge. They fell out over alleged hostile work environment issues. Mero's back with Carmelo Anthony. Meanwhile, Desus has been doing random gigs here and there. Yes, I think they're both going to be fine, but it's sad. I thought everyone knew they weren't close. I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't.
I didn't know.
Idea.
I just assumed, but you know, just because people are family or just because people are twins doesn't mean that people are close. But it was sad to hear it like in that way, you know?
Yeah.
Palmer would have to badmouth Carol Channing. The thing is, I don't know her well, and I wouldn't badmouth her, and he wouldn't badmouth Mariah. We respect each other's faves. It's not like his fave is, you know.
And it's like, what's to bet? It's like if Mariah, I already know Mariah, who she is as an artist at this point. It's just like if she put out a song that was bad, and I was just like, oh, I think this song isn't good.
Right.
That's like the worst thing I would say.
And the thing
about.
is, I'd probably be like, I know.
Yeah. Like.
Right.
Yeah.
But luckily, we've not been dealing with that.
At this point, I would never even think like, oh, Mariah, hack. It's like, I think that's...
Which, I mean, we'll discuss it. But by the way, like, I was at a wedding over the weekend. Maybe we won't discuss it on the podcast. I was at a wedding over the weekend, and we were talking for some reason about... It was like people that I don't know super well. It's like friends of Jackson's that he, again, only knows one of the grooms. And I was in a circle of people, and I was like talking about who our number one artists were. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, my number one's Mariah.
Yeah.
And someone's response to me was, and the thing is, a very nice person who I liked everything else they said. Mm-hmm. So I was, again, nice. Didn't respond. They're like, you know, I just love how she doesn't care. Like, like that New Year's Eve, she just was like, I'm not even going to try, and I don't care. And I was like, that's
not exactly what happened.
But we are at a celebratory event.
Yes.
These are friends that are through my partner.
Of course.
I cannot, have my head whipped 360 degrees and be like, actually,
yeah,
her in-ear monitors didn't work, and like Stella fucking ruined this whole thing.
It's like she didn't sing because she cared.
Yes,
because she was just like, I will not.
Exactly.
Attempt to sing when I can't hear myself and sound bad.
No, you're not going to get me here like this. And like, but again, I'm not, I was just like,
because it's not like they were saying like something that was like super bad. Like they were essentially complimenting her in a weird way, or they thought they were. But if you had gotten so uberly defensive about it, you would have looked like a crazy person.
That's the thing. And I was like, I don't know you well enough to scream my head off. But like, that's not what happened. And that's, you don't know that. And I'm not here to educate.
Yeah. I do think that moment is so interesting though, because people were just like, well, why didn't she just like attempt to sing and everything? It's like, because she would rather look like a diva than to attempt to sing when she can't hear herself and sound bad.
Right.
Because that would have been worse
Which
press.
makes sense. And I don't know. I mean, that whole evening was awful. And I love that in the book, she doesn't give it any time of day.
Sure.
She's just like, why would I discuss this? But I mean, that was a bad time.
Why is it my fault if the technology's not working,
I know.
darling?
Palmer, I was threatened by a family member because I am gay and criticizing Trump. Luckily, it's not my immediate family. Oh, I'm so sorry, Christian. Not okay. I'm glad it wasn't your immediate family, but you should not have to go through that. Who was it who called Mariah punk rock for that moment? LOL, I can't remember. I don't either, but I love them. The Stella era was rough.
How long was Stella? What years was that? What years were
they? My guess is 2014 or 15, because when Mia and Mariah came out, Jermaine Dupri was managing her. But I think after that was Stella. So 2014 or 15 through 2017. So like the years that she was doing like random Hallmark movies and doing Mariah's role, just doing things that were like perfect for like a random celebrity, but not for someone with the musicality of Mariah. Like she came from the reality TV world and did not understand. And also, she was like a scammer, but whatever.
Also, she was a scammer.
She was a scammer, but whatever. Allegedly. But yeah, that was I think the worst time to be a stan. Sure. 2015 through 2017. Oh, good. I'm glad I was right. Fun fact, Mariah, me, and Gaga are all Aries. Good for y'all.
Good for y'all.
We don't acknowledge the nightmare.
You know who else is an Aries?
Yes.
Posh Spice.
Oh, Matt, you were too kind screaming at strangers in solidarity for Mariah. It's fun. I mean, I've done it for a long time. I had to choose not to do it because at a certain age, it's like when, like this election season, you're not on Facebook arguing people. You're not on Twitter arguing people. At some point, it's like, I know I'm right.
Yeah.
And like, I can't even waste my energy.
Sure.
You know.
I forget, are either of you from the Midwest? What did you think of Chappell's comments about still being friends with her conservative family members and staying? People from the coast wouldn't get it.
Look.
I don't think we should generalize people from like where they live.
I don't
actually
either.
saw a chart today and that said that the people who live close, on average, closest to their families were people from where I am from in New Jersey. So I think the generalizing that some people have for people like in parts of the country is not needed or helpful.
And I even was going to leave her alone with that because, you know, I understand what she's saying. She's like, I'm not going to cut off all my family members just because they're conservative. And like, you can make that choice and I'm happy to not have to make it.
Yeah, I've never been in that situation, so I can't.
The quote I read after that is what bothered me, and we'll talk about it during the podcast.
But you know, I'm all about like trying to stay close with your family, like if you can.
Yes, absolutely. And it's hard to consider because to me it's like it all is conceptual and like I don't know what because like I'm luckily not in the situation, but like if I had a close family member who was like truly like I think you're going to hell because you're gay, I don't know what I would do. I don't because it's something I can't fathom anyone in my family doing. Right. So I'm very privileged in that. Exactly. And I appreciate the fact that my family's not like that. I realize it's a privilege and not everyone has that. So Chappell has to cope how she has to cope, but something she said later bothered me. Palmer, are you doing anything for your 37th in April? Well, it'll be my 38th.
We're putting that out there.
Hey, I look great. I'm looking at me on the screen. I was like, hey, I look 12. But I don't know. I mean, it's April's a while away. We'll do something.
Iowa has surprisingly. Oh, I saw those Iowa polls, baby.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Polls are looking great, but as we remember, polls. We can't put too much stock in polls because when we just like assume, we make an ass out of you and me and the rest of the fucking country.
Yes, absolutely.
So, Steele, did you have any insider privilege for the new Monster series on Netflix? Insider privilege? Oh, I got a free meal.
I guess it probably means about the new one because now there's
the new one, the Menendez brothers.
I
don't know the secrets of that one.
The both sides stuff bothered me too, but I don't think it's the worst. It's not the worst thing ever, but it's like we'll talk about it, but like I feel like I've been trying to defend this girl a lot, and at some point it's like, babe, please, like make it easier for me. Polls have been wrong before, absolutely. Who is registered to vote for Kamala Harris on November 5th or earlier? Bonus points for everyone in the swing state. I mean, I'm registered. I checked just to double because you never know. And I'm usually in California. You're probably cool, but I think it could never hurt to check. And it was great to check again. The Life of Chuck, which won at the TIFF Film Festival, looks great. Oh, I haven't seen anything about that.
Thanks, East.
Yes, thanks, East.
I will be early voting. The both sides stuff combined with I love my Republican family friends bother me. Well. Question, mini email my heart. Well, good, because we don't have any email my hearts.
Someone emailed us like right as we started.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Who would do better on Survivor? Big Brother, between the two of you, strengths and weaknesses.
He'd do better on Survivor. I would be like, I would like to go home. No food, no food, no beds.
Y'all look great for your 20s.
Oh, thank you, darling. Thank you. That's the thing. I mean, we love everyone, and everyone has different, feelings about aging. To me, I am much more worried about when I look in this camera and I'm like, you look different.
Sure. Yeah.
Versus like the numbers, like, number.
Oh, sure.
Number.
Last time y'all cried. I cry every day.
I'm not a crier.
Oh, I love crying. I usually cry for happy reasons. It's because I'm like in the shower acting.
Of course.
Like recreating a scene from Steel Magnolias or something like that.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Is it weird that I can't remember the last time I cried?
You should get on that.
I'm not generally a crier. I have been very upset. Before.
We know you've been upset. Matt Palmer upset about something. I've never experienced that.
But I'm more of a, I'm going to go to sleep now.
Yes.
Than I am I'm going
to feel my feelings.
No. Let's sleep it off, baby. Hey, which, maybe it's not the most healthy, but there are less healthy ways to deal with one's emotions.
There absolutely are. You could drink.
Right.
Which would be bad.
That would be bad.
That's a bad way to cope with your feelings.
No. And I have had some espresso martinis today, but that wasn't for sadness reasons. That was for fun reasons.
Steele, if the only reality competition you could go on was Naked and Afraid, would you do it? No, I'm not getting naked in front of people. I have no desire to like get naked in front of people. Like I think I like when people are like, "Ooh, let's go skinny dipping with our friends." I'm just like, I have no desire to do that. I have no desire to see my friends naked.
I've only not skinny. I mean, I guess it was kind of a skinny dip. It was like years ago, and it was like so dark outside. No one could see anything. No one was looking at anything. It was just more like, oh, we're all free. We're all young and free, young, wild, and free.
Oh, was it in a natural body of water?
It was, by an ocean. Yeah.
Oh, I also don't go into.
I know. So you're over.
If there's a fish in there,
cry right now. It would be great for the pod.
I could do that.
He could. I couldn't. Palmer would be good.
If you all become patrons right now, all 117 of you, I will cry on the live stream.
Oh my God! Do people want to see that?
That's your patron request. I just want a video of Matt Steele crying.
I discovered a line between my forehead this week, and it stopped me in my tracks. I'm gonna stop furrowing for all your eyebrows. Express as much as you want. I see, every once in a while, I see a gray like strand in my beard. I'm like, oh,
I got grays all in
here. But then sometimes I look at these guys who are gray, and I'm like, it looks fucking hot.
I know. That's us.
That's us.
Hot
One day we'll be
and
just
gray.
Hot and gray.
Steele, when is your TV show episode airing? Next month.
Oh yes, because it's next month.
Next month. My line could have been cut for all I know, but
we think it's not cut. We're gonna be positive, and we think it's not cut.
I felt like Beetlejuice 2 depended on AI for the first half. Like AI, like visually, or AI, like writing.
I imagine writing's what they mean, but I don't know.
Oh, I didn't feel that at all. Oh, Matt Steele, I'm so happy I started watching Big Brother again this season. It's been great.
Yes.
Yeah, some stupid moves are being made, but it's fine.
It's fine. I guess we'll hear about it during 2 Gay Minutes.
Stupid moves are being made now.
Oh, right now.
Stupid moves were being made last week too,
right.
But this week it's like, oh, we're getting even stupider. But so we'll talk about that next.
No, not next week, baby.
At some point.
Yes, at some. Because by the way, we'll talk about it probably during. Oh Lord, Juan. At some point during the podcast recording, we're off next week. Yes. I am in Spain. There will be no podcast. You guys will survive. And the thing is, I'm doing the podcast the day before I leave and the day after I get back. So the next time we're on this podcast, I will be insane.
Matt Palmer's strong.
And we're trying to give you as much as we can.
We're doing it for the people, guys. Really? I'll be fine. I'll feel refreshed.
You always will.
Beetlejuice. Relying on AI, not the Beetlejuice I saw. Have you all seen Halle Berry's new movie? It's low-key scary. The trailer's cool for it.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like don't
cry out loud.
No, it's like Don't Let Go.
Okay.
Is it called? Use tretinoin. It's 0.05% to slow the aging process. Hot. Matt Steele, right, but the janky RIP stuff made up for it.
What's janky?
Janky World is they were all forced to live in the backyard this last week.
Stupid.
It had like this carnival thing, and they called it Janky World.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it makes for boring feeds.
Okay.
Because they're literally all just sitting there, miserable, tired. They're all like wearing these disgusting robes and just like.
That's too bad.
And they can't like really have good conversations with each other because they're all in each other's eyesight. So they have to like go under blankets and stuff.
Right.
And like when you try to watch the feeds, you hear like traffic and airplanes and stuff like that. Like the sound audio's bad, but like for the edited show, it's cute and it's fun.
Okay.
And like interesting stuff.
I love that. Can't wait to see the Saturday Night Movie. If you had your own dream album out, what's the genre? 3 Claps Max. Who are they? Any theme? Any sound inspirations? You can find all of my music on Spotify and on my YouTube channel at Matt Palmer Music. You can hear a lot of great albums. The best one is The Good Parts. Then Get Lost, which is a visual EP. It's on my YouTube channel. It's very good as well. Stranger Than Fiction's good. It has some songs I would change.
Why?
It's good. I just feel like the production's not exactly where it needs to be, but I think Break Up and like Snow are classics.
Snow.
I mean, classics.
Remember Snow.
Remember
Snow.
And then Like the Ocean's Fine. And then my first one, Let Go.
Wow.
I was like, what's it called?
Wow.
That one was the most popular, and people like that a lot. So give it a listen.
Wow, the shade being thrown at yourself.
Hey, just so everybody knows.
Like the Ocean's Fine.
It's not bad. It's just like it sounds like it was made quickly and it was less. And I feel like that's the sophomore thing. It's like, oh, I had all this time to make this first thing no one cared about. And now people care about the second thing. And like some people cared, no shade. And so I was like, oh, I want to get this out soon.
Sure.
It just was less.
You felt a little rough. It was a little
just
rushed.
less personal.
Okay. Isn't that your album with the most tracks too?
I mean, it probably has 14 and the first one had 14. I bet the first one has the most tracks, actually.
Okay. But how do you not know?
I mean, I'm not always looking. You know I don't have a great memory. I'll go to my Spotify. We'll see.
God. I can tell you Devo's is 1 hour and 38 minutes, guys.
I love that.
I know this to be a fact. Diddy's Jail Menu YouTube video made me cackle. He deserves it. Palmer song bracket soon.
That would be great.
Kind of iconic.
That'd be like flop.
That would be kind of fucking hysterical. It seems like I was gonna major shift regardless of who wins November. Just wish she was put a better stance for women's and LGBTQ plus rights.
Right.
I mean, Matt Palmer. Maybe that's what I'll do while you're gone.
A Matt Palmer song bracket. That's so funny.
So fucking funny.
Except everyone's like, well, you don't know these songs, but hey, then you'd look them up.
Then you'd look it up.
Stream Devos. We had a watch party for that recently on Patreon. Should we get to recording?
Let's get to recording. Yeah.
Okay. Let me get my information together.
All right, guys. The podcast is starting. I don't know if I heard it wrong before, but Bush went to the Supreme Court to contest the election results against Gore, and the recount was stopped. Gore conceded to avoid dividing the country even more.
Oh yeah, that was a mess.
It was something like that.
That was a mess too.
That was the longest. How many days was it?
I don't know.
It felt like years.
Seemed like years.
And I just remember being a little kid, and just being like, I don't really understand.
Right? Like, what's going on?
What's
exactly?
going on? And yeah,
that sucked.
That was wild. Still, not as wild as what happens these days, but. Okay. All right, guys, y'all beware. Matt Palmer is pre-vacation mode.
Yes.
She may have had a couple of espresso martinis before today's podcast. She might have.
Hey, I'm with it. I'm together. I have a lot to say. I have pop girls that I love that I need to give fearless feedback to, because sometimes the women that you love make mistakes. Not as bad of mistakes as the men. Hey, Diddy. But mistakes where you're like,
girl,
Miss Janet,
let's get it together.
Let's get new news sources.
Newsmax
isn't it.
No.
Your brother Randy isn't it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll let it go.
That's the espresso martini talking. That's him espresso, guys.
Yes, it's that me espresso. Okay, let's put an ad.
Sure.
Some of you will see it, some of you won't. The Devos replay is so funny. Oh, good. Have you all done a Bob Ross night? It's fab. No, I've never done it. She's working late, but because she's a podcaster. It's true. It's not even that late here. It's only 7, but. Is anyone getting the ad?
Who's getting the ad?
Sometimes I feel like no one gets the ad, but maybe. All right, maybe we'll get it. I'm going to look.
Sorry, guys. I have to post a really nice a Facebook post for my stepfather.
Okay.
Which we'll talk about on today's podcast.
Tell me when you're done, because we're going through the ad.
Okay.
No, come on. Runaway Janet. Oh, by the way, an underrated Janet song. Not that I need to be promoting Miss Jackson, but I mean, she does have great music, and she's been underappreciated post 2004, but I am mad at her. I'm mad at her. And that's okay. We can be mad at the people that we love, but I also am happy that Mariah didn't do anything like this. You know what I mean? Like, the worst stuff Mariah's done is just like be too close to men who have been canceled. Like, she needs to take down that R. Kelly remix of Betcha Gone No. And I think she did a photo shoot with Terry Richardson. Too late in the game.
Yeah.
But outside of it's always like she's too close to bad men, but that's not her. Which I guess you could say for Janet with Randy, but she was the one who said that shit. We can be mad at people we admire. Absolutely. And that's the thing, is like, being a stan doesn't mean that you support every single thing your favorite artist says and does. And we've all been mad at our faves at least once. Exactly. So if this is Janet's time that we're mad at her, then she had a long streak of us never having been mad at her. And,
it comes
and goes.
It comes for everyone, guys.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll
okay.
put it down so we can record.
Do you want to start? Do you want me to
You
start?
start.
Okay. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Two Gay Matts, the podcast. It's Matt Palmer.
And it's Matt Steele.
And we are back again another week. This is, by the way, the last week. I am about to go to Madrid tomorrow during the day. I think our flight is at 5, but we're going to get to the airport around 2 p.m. because it's an international flight. And also, the check-in process was a little weird. Both tickets have Jackson's name on them, and neither has mine. And so we're going to get all that straight.
We're going to get that figured out.
We are.
So we don't get stranded in Los Angeles.
I can't have that.
What's there to do in Los Angeles?
Not a damn thing. Not when I'm going to be going to Spain, going to Madrid, going to, Cordoba, Sevilla, just a lot of places. It's going to be fun the next 10 days. So next week, there will not be a brand new podcast. So take this in. And make this feel like 2 weeks of podcast to you.
I know. And what if you die in a tragic bullfighting accident?
I am not going to be bullfighting.
And then it's just me here with you guys. I don't know how to work this recording equipment.
Don't. If that happens, this is the last live stream. Hope you can figure out the podcast part.
Yeah.
I don't think you can figure out the live stream
I
part.
will not be able to do that.
And that's okay.
I would need to figure out how to hook this. He has a special computer for live streaming, guys. I don't know how to hook that shit up.
I know. It's too much to ask. So luckily that's not going to happen. I'll be back in 2 weeks. But just giving you guys a heads up. There will be a week of no podcast, and we all need to make peace with that.
Yes.
Matt Steele.
Yes.
How was your week?
My week was very good. It was a lot of cinema. I went to the movies 3 times this week.
Do you want to talk about all of them and give me moments?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
See, fill up the back end of the podcast because the front end's going to be very heavy with a lot of heavy material.
Yes.
And and it was fun. I went on a hike. It was disgusting. But it was fun. I hope I burned at least a few calories off of that.
Yes.
Did a lot of work, did a lot of writing, catching up because I had a very, very busy several weeks prior.
Okay.
And so a lot of work that I wanted to do in terms of the script that I'm working on and stuff like that.
Nice.
So just a lot of catching up and all that fun stuff.
That's amazing.
And something else exciting happened today that I'm actually writing a Facebook post for as we speak. My stepfather won a big award at the New Jersey Perry Awards, which is the statewide community theater awards for community theater in the entire state of New Jersey. He won the David P. McKenemy Lifetime Achievement Award for all of his work that he has done in community theater in the entire state of New Jersey.
Yes.
It's crazy because my stepdad he's a Marine. He loves fishing and all this stuff, but also he's very passionate about theater, and that is because me and my brother one day.
I was gonna ask.
It was because me and my brother, we were in The Sound of Music in 2001, and we were just hey Mike, they need guys to play Nazis, and he was just I'll do it.
Is this for Sound of Music?
This is for Sound of Music.
Okay.
And so Mike was a Nazi in The Sound of Music, and he was just this is kind of fun. So as the years went on, he went on to design sets for different theater companies, and truly excellent set designer. When I saw his first set, it was for the play Mousetrap was his first one. Me and my brother walked in, we were just holy fucking shit. Mike, what the fuck? How
Iconic.
did we not know you could give us this beautiful design? And so he went on to be a set designer. Then he went on to create his own production company with his other best friend Mike, and produce several other shows now, and perform in some of those shows as well. And now he is also an adjunct professor at the community college where he would do all of these shows.
Shit.
Where he teaches set design and everything. And so congratulations to my stepdad Mike for this incredible achievement.
Yes, congrats to Mike. Didn't you win for Devos this year? Was that this year? You won an award for Devos this year?
Oh, I did win an award for Divas, but not these are different.
I know, but I'm saying you guys have two award-winning performers in the family this year. That's pretty exciting.
I know. So it's 2024 has been an eventful year for my household.
I must say just one thing that's a note from the outside looking in. I feel like people who love and talk about Sound of Music don't talk about the fact that there are Nazis in it. To me, when I watched the film and I was this is happy-go-lucky, it's a family film. I'm wait, so this is all about Nazi? It just feels darker than people when talking about The Sound of Music. And be oh, I love it. It's so light and lovely and fun. I'm this is dark, guys.
Well, you've never seen the film, actually. You've only seen the Sound of Music
That
live.
was the film I needed to see.
But though we are going to watch the actual film at some point soon because it was a patron request.
Jesus.
You need to, cinema. But I feel a lot, I think we just maybe run into in different circles because everyone I talk to is just like the Nazis, because it's essentially The Sound of Music is about the simple joys that something as beautiful and simple as music and any type of art can give you. It can give you hope. It can give you inspiration to, when there are dark times happening.
Very dark.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it's a deep, deep show that I feel like people who don't know it super well are just like, oh, it's just happy, fluffy shit. People who don't know musicals well often describe musicals in this sort of way, and it's very frustrating as someone who deeply loves musical theater. It's just like, no, this is about important stuff. The fact that there are catchy tunes in there, like doesn't negate the fact that this is about this is deep and complex material here. Just because we two gay mats talk about fluffy, fun, seemingly harmless stuff on the podcast doesn't mean that we live full, complex, sometimes sad lives.
I mean, yes, I just feel like, something like Next to Normal. It's like, okay, it's a headline. It's like, this is about, mental illness. This is about overcoming, but also there's the darkness is like in the log line. When I feel like Sound of Music, maybe when it's just been pitched to me in the past, we're not highlighting it as much. It was a shock to me when I watched Carrie Underwood perform the show.
Okay, I mean, wait for the movie.
I guess I'm waiting for the movie.
I mean, but those are the best pieces of art, the ones that where it's like deep, heavy material that still has that's if you're not paying attention super closely, you're just like, oh, this is such a happy thing.
I guess I'll see the movie and see how I feel, but it shook me. I was just going to say it was shaken.
Well, the reason why people feel like it's happy is because music gives people hope and inspiration.
I think that's beautiful.
Yes, you'll learn about it more. Become a patron to find out how he learns about it. But Matt Palmer, what did you do this week?
This week was quite a week. I was wrapping things up at work and with 2Gay Matt stuff. You'll see a new video that's going to pop up in the next couple of days that we filmed on last Thursday. And also on Patreon, we recorded a video where we're discussing just revisiting Renaissance by Beyonce, which was just a joy to re-listen to and to talk about for 30 minutes. And then over the weekend, one of Jackson's friends was getting married in Portland. This is our 4th wedding of the year, and they were getting married on Friday night. And again, it was kind of like a not wedding. They had already had the ceremony, but it was a party to celebrate. And so we went up to Portland on Friday midday, went to their wedding at night, hung out in Portland and explored the city for a bit, went to Powell's Bookstore, which is this giant, very famous bookstore in Portland, and then hopped back on a plane on Saturday, came back here, and then tomorrow we're flying out to Madrid. So I've been, I'm in the middle of a world traveling moment, which has been nice, but it was good to see them, and it was a lot of people I didn't know, but of course, when you go to a gay wedding, the music's going to be everything.
And you become fast friends.
And Portland was a cool place to visit. I had never been there before, and so it was a cool first-time visit for me. And now I just am trying to do all the prep I can. We don't leave until tomorrow evening for our 11-hour flight to Madrid, but I still need to pack my bag. I need to prepare. I need to download every single movie that I want us to watch on the plane. So far, I've downloaded Father of the Bride and Father of the Bride 2.
Classics.
So if anybody has other recommendations about what I need to be downloading to my iPad before tomorrow, just think of them, put them in the chat, because I'm open to suggestions. I assume I'll be downloading lots of episodes of Vanderpump Rules and Friends, which just had its 30th anniversary. Happy anniversary, Friends. But if there is something else I should be watching, let me know that you think I'm going to enjoy. Nothing too dark. I'm going to be in a plane, locked in it for a while. I don't want to be too dark.
And also, when it's a plane viewing, I don't want to give you too cinema where it's just I need you to see every pixel of this frame.
Yes,
because it's important, because your screen will be very small.
I mean, it's not that bad. Someone was talking about watching something on a phone instead of the iPad in lieu. So the
repulsive.
The iPad does what it needs to do, and so yes, that is the plan. I'm also going to take the Switch with me. So if you have any other games I should be getting, let me know. Someone said My Best Friend's Wedding in the chat, and I actually just watched it. It's very good. And I watched another, I believe, maybe early aughts rom-com last night once we got back from Portland, which maybe I'll discuss a little bit later. But yeah, so then today we went over to our friends Joe and Tim, and we just wanted to see them one last time before we went on our trip. And so we had a nice brunch, and we played a card game that I probably mentioned here before, Sabotage, which is you're trying to make 5 different boba drinks. We were fighting the good fight. Congrats to Tim, who won. But it was a lot of fun and great to see them before our 2-week-long trip extravaganza.
What boba drinks did you make? I would like to know more about that.
I mean, the thing is, a lot of my boba drinks got really broken up by the end of the game.
Oh, not a broken up boba.
I was a broken up boba, but you could either make a Oh, I don't really know. There's like a milk-based drink
Yes.
or like a fruit.
A milk tea or a fruit tea?
Yes. So you can only do certain. So I think I had a fruit tea that was completed, and I had like 4 milk teas like in the process, but I just couldn't find any actual tea. I was getting toppings, I was getting milk, but you gotta have the tea.
You gotta have the tea.
And I didn't have the tea.
Or else you're just drinking straight up sugar.
I know.
And you don't have the nutritional.
Are you a milk tea person in
Milk
general?
tea always.
Okay.
Which is interesting because I am a fruit
It's
fruit
true.
is very much my aesthetic, but when it comes to boba, I am a milk tea girl.
Haha, Matt steals a fruit.
It's funny. I had a customer come into my restaurant today. Coming to my restaurant today.
I'm going to beep that.
There's a few of them.
It's fine.
Yeah. You don't know which one I work at. Coming to my restaurant today,
Yes.
and there's a boba place next door, and the guy was referring to the place next door and called it Baba. He's like, "Oh, my daughter's getting a Baba," and I was like,
Interesting. Did you correct?
No, I was kind of like, I kind of like that. I kind of respect that. I think I might go for that.
I love
It
that.
took me a long time to start calling it boba because, like, back in the day when I was living in New Jersey and New York City and everything where I'm from, it's always referred to as bubble tea. Bubble tea.
Yes.
Which I think is the original term for it.
Yeah.
Like, it was created in Taiwan. But in California, everyone just called it boba.
Right.
And that's just what I've called it.
Oh, wow. So you're now like an official Californian,
No,
bro.
never
You're
said.
like, oh, I'm taking
As
the
someone
10,
born and
the
raised in New
405.
Jersey, I will always be a New Jerseyan. Thank you very
I'm
much.
into the PCH. That's Matt Steele
Oh,
every
yeah,
day.
I love talking about highways.
You always are talking about
Always
highways.
talking about highways. See, I can tell I'm from New Jersey because I say highway instead of freeway.
Atlanta's highway too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Normal. We're the normal people, guys.
All right, should we jump into the news for idiots?
Yeah.
I'm kind of like not even wanting to do it because the news is just, it's not even, I mean, there's dark stuff, but there's some stuff where just like,
Well, let's not do
disappointed.
it. We're taking a break.
No.
Then we'll go to Email My Heart.
No, we got to do
We
the
gotta
important
do it.
stuff.
Okay. Oh, we're so brave. Take a deep breath.
Y'all know how much I love Janet Jackson. I hope if this isn't your first time listening to the podcast, I am #1 Mariah Carey, but like literally ever since I was in 3rd to 5th grade, Janet Jackson has been right up there with Mariah as far as my fave. She's become a solid #2 only because Mariah was more consistent in putting out her music from there on out. But long story short, I love Janet Jackson. I always am impressed and always discussing like Rhythm Nation and its importance and how difficult it is to make a record that is danceable and, radio ready, but also speaks politically to the nation at that time.
And have it not be fucking corny. Like,
it's not easy to do.
it's not.
There are some albums that we discuss on Patreon which fall into the trap of that and like think that they're doing it, and God, they're not.
But nothing is cooler than Rhythm Nation.
Nothing
guys.
is, which is why reading this quote broke my entire heart. There's a part of the interview where she is, discussed, and that someone is asked about, like, someone asked her, I think the interview asked her about, like, what do you think about the possibility of Kamala Harris becoming the first black woman president? And the quote after someone is basically Janet says that someone told her that Kamala Harris's father is white, so it must be true. He is not. The reporter gently pushes back. And then Janet says, she's not black. That's what I heard, that she's Indian. Well, she's both, the reporter says. Her father's white. That's what I was told. I mean, I haven't watched the news in a few days. I was told they discovered her father was white. Reporter, Harris has dual heritage. I don't know. Honestly, I don't want to answer because I really truthfully don't know. I think either way it goes, it's going to be mayhem.
Well,
okay. Guys, and the thing is, I'm a stan. I have loved this woman for most of my life. And Janet, I'm saying this with all love and reverence in my heart. Shut the fuck up. Like, you literally must know what you're talking about on this specific issue before you say anything, because a lot of people love and respect you and have been riding with you since the mid fucking 80s, and you being this ignorant. And it's like, we understand celebrities are in a bubble. Maybe they receive misinformation, and people have pointed out that her manager, her brother, Randy Jackson, not American Idol Randy Jackson, different Randy Jackson, has pictures on Instagram with RFK Jr. He follows Candace Owens. He follows Trump. He probably watches Fox News, if not Newsmax. So the assumption is that is where Janet has gotten this information. But to me, it's like, even in her verbiage, she's saying, I don't know if this is true. I am not positive, but this is what I've heard. When it's about something as serious as like Kamala Harris, the vice president of the United States, the Democratic nominee, and like her identity, why you would go out on a limb and say anything if you were not 1,000% sure, I will never understand. Never.
Yeah, and listen, Janet Jackson, as you said, celebrities often live in a bubble. I can't imagine a bubble tighter than Janet Jackson's. Like, because she truly, like, since she was a child, has been well known. And not only has she been well known, but like her entire family has been well known and everything. So like there is a bubble like wrapped so tight around her, I feel. And so it's not surprising to me that maybe she doesn't necessarily know, she's not tuned in to stuff like that. I will say I do appreciate that she went into this with a bit of humility and saying like, well, this is what I've heard. You know, I don't think she went into it with any malice of any kind.
I don't think so.
But you know, she was saying like, well, this is what I heard. Like, I could be wrong. I don't know. You know, I feel like that's the tone of what she's saying. I'm glad that, you know, the reporter corrected her and was just like, well, actually, so I will say those are the positives, but it's just, it was rough to hear that someone as successful and with so much power and clout can still fall for some sort of misinformation. I assume like you can assume like it was maybe her brother who she heard it from or someone, I don't know.
Right.
But that it was very hard to see. But there was something released today as well.
Today there was an apology. Janet Jackson issues apology for Kamala Harris comments based on misinformation. And this came from manager Mo El-Masri admitted that Jackson previously spoke based on misinformation. She deeply respects Vice President Kamala Harris and her accomplishments as a Black and Indian woman. Janet apologizes for any confusion caused and acknowledges the importance of accurate representation in public discourse. We appreciate the opportunity to address this and will remain committed to promoting unity. And when I read this, I thought, you know what? I'm not a person who's always like, you need to fucking apologize, random celebrity who said something I don't like. But this was so off base and so horrible. I was like, I pray she has an apology ready by the end of day tomorrow. So I read this and I truly breathed a little sigh of relief. I was like, okay, she made a mistake. She said something wrong. She is walking it back and is saying all the right things. And I was like, cool, I'm in. Good job for you, Janet. Hours later, we receive a follow-up from her actual management, which basically is Randy Jackson.
Oh.
And so he's her manager, and he makes a point to go to Deadline, go to Variety, and be like, that was an unauthorized apology. That is a person that has never worked for us. And basically, Janet is not apologizing for what was said here. And so you can ignore that. And to me, it's like, I don't know the situation. Now the supposed manager who issued the statement was like, I was fired and, you know, reprimanded by Randy. But honestly, even if this person was a random fan trying to clean up this absolute mess that was created, give him the Nobel Prize. He was trying to help you, bitch. Like, he was trying to help you, Randy. And you literally had to go out of your way to say this isn't true. She doesn't apologize. She's basically standing by this. Why is that necessary? This would have been so much better, even if it wasn't real. Just take it. Just take the goodwill of the people and be like, oh, thank God. And you read more of that article and she's like, well, I have a bunch of music that's ready to go, but Randy says it's not ready yet, so I don't know what's happening there. It's
girl, like, fire your brother.
Fire this man and like never, I get that he's your brother. Stop engaging with him. Find new friends, hang out with your baby. Like, he's clearly a bad influence. We're not getting music and we're getting quotes like this because of him. Nothing. I don't want him around.
This misinformation is absolutely fucking insane. Like,
insane.
The fact that people are just like, well, I hear she's not actually Black, and it's like, do you not see like the evidence that who her father is?
Right.
Like, do you not see the pictures of her with her father? Like, do you not know? Like, there's a lot of ways to like say like, no, actually, like what you're saying is misinformation. Right. But people who like believe this misinformation are just like, well, I don't believe it. I don't know. I don't believe it. It's just like, God, use your eyes and ears and common sense.
And it's also wild to me because it's like, isn't Janet's son multiracial? Aren't Janet's nieces and nephews multiracial? And also, especially Michael Jackson's kids, aren't they very often judged about what race they are? Like, you know the trauma of that. Like, it's close enough to you that you're like, you should know that this was incredibly irresponsible. And I wish that fake manager had just let the apology and you would let him do it. Because this just makes you look worse and worse. I truly hope that by the time this podcast is released, we get a real apology from really Janet, from her real manager, Randy Jackson, or whoever replaces him because he needs to be fired. It just breaks my heart to have the Rhythm Nation artist in this kind of mess.
But the scary thing is, it's kind of just like, is Janet Jackson in so much of a bubble that she doesn't know what the stir that this is causing? Like, is she tuned into like what's happening in politics, period? Like, does she know the stakes in this?
But she must be tuned into her career, and I hope there's someone in the real world outside of her brother who's telling you like, hey babe, this is going viral for the worst reasons, you have to say something. I just hope she has access to the outside world outside of this insular bubble that she may be in. I would like to see something on her Instagram. Anything. I have loved her for so long, and I hate to see her go down like this.
It's insane that, like, I figured, when it was announced Kamala Harris was running, that I figured the Republicans would try to throw every single thing at her, trying to get bad press in some sort of way. I figured they would just make up the most random shit and everything, but saying Kamala isn't black was not on my bingo card for like things that they would try to say. Like it's nuts that people are believing it.
It's really, really upsetting.
It's really sad.
That's all I can really say about it. It's hard watching someone you've loved for so long make a gaffe like this, and I'm just thankful it wasn't Mariah. But speaking of girls that we're a little disappointed in this week,
who we don't have as much of a history with.
Don't have as much of a history with this one, but like Chappell Roan, we were all rooting for you.
We're rooting for you.
And I understand about, especially the stalking shit that she was going through.
Completely.
She's getting a lot of blowback because she's basically like, hey, stop stalking me and my family. And people are like, oh, she doesn't like being famous. What a bitch. And it's like, no. She is in the right in all of those things. And I'm fighting I'm hoping that she continues to fight the good fight there. And I get that she's being asked questions about things that maybe, are not a part of her job. But she was asked in The Guardian again, basically, why haven't you endorsed anyone? Will you endorse anyone? I have so many issues with our government in every way. There are so many things that I would want to change, so I don't feel pressure to endorse someone. Honestly, if she'd ended it there, I would have been like, that's fine. Like, I would endorse someone if I were you, but like, that's fine, whatever.
You're not legally obligated to endorse anyone. Yeah.
Problem comes from me here.
Yeah.
There's problems on both sides. Let me stop you there. There's problems on both sides. I encourage people to use your critical thinking skills, use your vote small, vote for what's going on in your city. And then she's asked about one topic she cares about a lot. Trans rights. They cannot have cis people making decisions for trans people, period. Chappell, I understand that there's no perfect candidate, and a lot of people our number one issue is something that neither party is doing what they would hope they would do, and I respect and understand that. But for a lot of issues, A, there's a thing called harm reduction, and B, for trans rights, there is one major political party that's coming after trans people and saying, like, trying to ban drag across the country. And it's not Kamala Harris's party. It's not the Democrats. I'm not saying she has to endorse someone. I'm not saying she has to be thrilled to go to the ballot and vote for Kamala Harris. I am saying this both sides rhetoric after she's like, people from the coasts like don't get how I'm close with my conservative family members, but that's what it's like when you're from the Midwest. And that on top of this is like, well, you're kind of playing both sides. And a lot of people were giving Taylor a lot of fucking grief for hugging that Trump supporting Brittany Mahomes. But she had the balls to come out and say, this is who I'm voting for and this is why. And I'm, again, not even begging her to do that, but I'm just saying there's a clear, better option when it comes to trans rights, and it's not Trump and the Republicans.
The whole like, well, both sides are bad is such a 2016 mistake that so many people made, and it's how we ended up in the situation that we are in today.
Absolutely.
I fucking hate the phrase both sides are bad, because what it does is it's just a platitude that so many people say to like make themselves feel smart.
Right.
It seems like it's just like it's essentially saying nothing. You're not giving any evidence. You're totally disregarding the nuance that is required in politics, whether you like the nuance or not, the difficulty level of being a piece of the puzzle in helping to run the country.
Right.
You're totally like disregarding all of that. And just by just saying, well, both sides are bad. It's just like, okay, you're not accomplishing anything.
Right.
And I was hoping that this is something that we could have left behind in 2016. But obviously we didn't in like 2020 either.
Right.
And clearly it's a thing that some people are still saying. It's just very frustrating to hear.
Yes.
And
it's like I'm going to still listen to both of these artists, and we still love the girls. But girls, please do better or be quiet. Those are the two options. Be like, I don't feel comfortable speaking about this. Absolutely, you're allowed to say that. Or like, say something better, and if you have nothing better to say, keep it to yourself. We don't want to hear your false equivalencies. We don't want to hear your Newsmax fucking racist theories. Like, if you don't know, don't talk. That's all I'm asking.
Sure. And to give Chappell a little bit of credit, I do like that she said vote locally as well.
Sure. Absolutely.
She was like, because that is very important. That is something that everyone should do for the rest of their lives, because local government is very, very important. So I will give her that little check for that. But both sides are bad. It's just like, I'm not impressed by this statement. Like, I don't think I'm just not impressed, and I feel like it's something that people say to try to sound impressive when it's like you're literally not saying anything.
Right, you're not saying anything, and you're opting out when it's like opting out.
You're opting out, but you're still causing harm.
Yes,
because you're discouraging people from voting, and when people are discouraged from voting, bad things happen.
Absolutely. So my heart is broken. Madrid will put it back together. But when I come back, I don't want to hear follow-ups on either of these stories. Unless it's Janet Jackson has apologized. And Chappell, I don't want to hear another word about how you feel about the November election. Because clearly we're not going to see eye to eye here. But I love you. I love your music, and I want you to be safe in this world. But what you're doing is harmful, and I don't know if you realize it. Period.
Yeah. Oh God! I can't wait until we don't have to talk about the goddamn election anymore. I can't wait for November 5th when things go really, really well, because everyone's gonna go out to vote.
Yes, and we would like you to vote for Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Period. I didn't watch the Emmys. Did you?
No, but we were here recording the podcast last week.
I'm so happy for Hacks. I love that it won Best Comedy Series. I am so happy that Jane Lynch. What's her name? Jean Smart. Jean Smart won for Hacks. I also am very excited that Baby Reindeer won as many awards as it won, especially the lead actress in that. Whose name is not coming to me, and I cannot find it on this list, but she was absolutely incredible. And we're never going to agree on what the bear is.
The bear is its own thing.
The bear is its
and doesn't
own
that
thing.
Make it art, ladies and gentlemen?
Absolutely,
when you can't
it does.
define it.
So I just was happy that I saw a lot of winners for shows that I cared about. Apparently, people loved Shogun. I didn't watch it, but Jackson liked it, and it won.
Travis, my roommate, really loved it.
Really, it won a bunch of awards, and so that is thrilling. And so I was happy to see the winners were so. I felt like there was a good crop of winners. It wasn't all one show, and that's always exciting.
And the lead of Shogun is the first Asian actress to win leading actress in a drama.
Is that true?
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm happy that all happened, and the clips that I've seen of Dan Levy and Eugene Levy, hosting the awards were very funny.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's like I feel like the last Emmy Awards just happened, and it's kind of because they did, because they were pushed back from the strike. So we had 2 Emmy ceremonies in 2024, and I love award ceremonies.
Yes,
so, the more award ceremonies, the better.
Yes. Jessica Gunning is the actress in Baby Reindeer who won at the Emmys, and she is truly so good in this role, so terrifying. Like, I cannot recommend it enough. Like, the show's incredible, but she is like, she sticks with you. Like, she shook me to my fucking core. And so I'm so thrilled that she won. It was absolutely a tour de force performance. And we love when people win for things that they deserve to win for.
Yeah.
Did you see that Miley Cyrus is getting sued?
Oh, yeah, but Bruno Mars is right or something?
It's not Bruno Mars, but it is a co-writer on the song, Philip Lawrence, his publishing company, who owns the right to like the publishing for songs that he co-writes, is suing, and he co-wrote the song When I Was Your Man by Bruno Mars, and his publishing company is suing Miley Cyrus because, Flowers is, it references those lyrics in its chorus.
It alludes to When I Was Your Man.
Right.
Just lyrically and melodically.
Yes.
A bit.
It does.
It does.
And maybe there's a happy medium here where, they can get a little bit of a writing writing credit, a percentage that makes sense.
I actually thought that they had a writing credit.
so
I
too.
thought that because it was so everyone was talking, and she's like, "Well, this is like the commentary on the song When I Was Your Man."
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, brilliant!" I
I
figured that she because how like Beyonce, like if she like so far as like references like a single note that is
Right.
similar to someone else's, she's like, give this person a writing credit.
Hey.
Because she's like, I am not going to get sued.
Those La La La's from Milkshake, she gave Pharrell and Chad Hugo writing credits. It got taken off because Khalees was pissed about it, but Khalees did not co-write Milkshake.
Yeah.
So, yes, I thought she had covered her bases. I really did assume that they had gotten some co-writing credit on that. So I think that's fair, but it's also like, it feels like we waited for the song to be a giant hit. We waited for it to win all those, that Grammy, where it's like, it feels a little like, is this necessary? But also like, I really assumed y'all had already figured this out.
Especially like so long after the song came out. It's been
Right.
a year and a half at this point.
It was shocking.
But
to me.
hey, there's never too long to wait for justice.
Absolutely. It's never too long to wait for justice. Christina Aguilera is putting out a new Spotify live album and project. This is marking the achievement of her 25th year making music. She is putting out an EP that I assume is Spotify exclusive, in which she is doing live remakes of many of her songs from the first album. I believe she's doing Genie in a Bottle with MGK for whatever reason. She's doing a live performance of Reflection. She is doing a version of, I think, What a Girl Wants with Sabrina Carpenter.
Ooh.
And so there are like 6 new songs, 6 new versions of songs that appeared on her debut self-titled album that'll be available on Spotify, I think, tomorrow. So maybe by the time we finish recording this podcast, it'll be available to listen to.
Okay.
And I'm excited. I feel like there are all of the songs, except maybe one, like Obvious I don't care about, but the other 5 songs that she's going to be, making live versions of are songs that I like and am excited to hear what she sounds like 25 years later. Because if we're talking, revisiting our old material, we all remember Reflection 2020.
Oh, sure.
And
she's in that dress, and yeah.
And the runs are even more ridiculous.
Oh, so good.
And it's like, if that's what we're doing, I'm here for it. And I feel like Sabrina has been a very vocal, people have put together mashups of like all the times in interviews that Sabrina has been like, Christina Aguilera is my icon. She is my legend. She's who I love the most. So the fact that they're getting to collaborate in this way, I think is really exciting.
Yeah,
it was
completely.
Like when Christina and Demi Lovato collaborated on the Liberation album. And
it's like when like JoJo and Mariah are like ever seen communicating with each other. It's just like,
because JoJo did that cover of Miss You Most, and they also at the background of the backstage of one of her Vegas shows, Mariah and JoJo sing "Everything Fades Away," and JoJo's on the background vocals, and it's like you can see the love there. You can see the love there.
Oh, imagine Mariah asking you like, "You want to sing Everything Fades Away with me?"
I'd be like, I will be there immediately.
Like that's the one I want to do.
I know.
I love Everything Fades Away. What a fucking good song.
And the fact that it's not actually on Music Box, that we had to wait until MC30 to get this on streaming. Awful. Horrifying.
But you know what? You can never wait too long for justice.
It's true. You can never wait too long for justice. And speaking of what we would do if invited, the Warriors concept album cast has been revealed. Lin-Manuel Miranda's new concept album features Philippa Sue, Jasmine Cephas Jones, and Lauryn Hill. There is a
Lauryn Hill. I didn't know this.
I didn't either until I read this. And so there was a concept album made by Lin-Manuel Miranda and Issa Davis. It is based on the 1979 cult classic action film The Warriors, and it's had its cast list released as part of it being made available for pre-order. And we're not people to brag. We're not people to pat ourselves on the back, but we were invited to an early listening of this concept album. Unfortunately, it was in New York. We live in LA. So Lynn,
one of the great tragedies of our lives is not being able to attend this thing.
And Lauryn Hill's on it?
Would Lauryn Hill have been
No.
No, yeah, that's true.
No.
Why? How dare I ask?
If she was coming, she would have been hours late.
Oh my God, yeah.
But
she was laying on her couch that night.
Absolutely she was.
But you know what? Good for you, Lin-Manuel Miranda. You got Lauryn Hill to come out of her house.
I know. And I mean, usually she's been coming out to go on tour and threatening to go on tour with the Fugees. I believe that tour has since been canceled. But to get her in a studio?
Yeah.
To do new music?
Wow.
That hasn't been done in
How
decades.
much do you think she got paid?
I hope a lot. And I am just sad we're not going to hear it. But we're going to hear it at some point.
Yeah.
And I can't wait until, we do. It's going to be lovely. But
I know, I'm excited. So, like, is this, I guess this is, they're trying to make this a musical? Like, because, I mean, the Hamilton was originally supposed to be a concept album.
Right.
Like, essentially, Hamilton, the mixtape, was what Hamilton was originally intended to be,
Right.
I feel. And then it turned into a musical.
I assume they're trying to turn this into a musical.
Sure.
That's my assumption.
I'm excited. I mean, it's been a long time since Hamilton.
know.
So it's like, Lynn, what are you following up Hamilton with? And he's just like, give me a fucking second. I'm busy doing a trillion things. And Hamilton was such writing,
Yes.
such dense writing. He's probably just like, I need a 10-year break,
Yes.
motherfuckers. I'm gonna make some Disney money, write a couple songs here and there,
Yes.
be in Mary Poppins Returns.
Apparently, the album is executive produced by Grammy-winning rapper Nas, who also lends his voice to the album, and it will be released by Atlantic Records on October 18th. So not very far away. Exciting.
Oh, I want to listen.
I know,
I'm
me
so
too. I'm
excited.
excited. Did you see that Disney blamed Lightyear's failure on the same-sex kiss, and basically all the notes of Inside Out 2 as it was being made was, please make this less gay.
Wow. Oh my God. Hardly all your faves are so problematic because Mariah said didn't she? Oh no, that was Beyonce.
It's like, ooh, Lord,
Beyonce.
you're like, you won't believe this horrible thing Mariah did.
Oh no, now Mariah. Now Beyonce's canceled. Sorry, because she said she loved Inside Out too.
She didn't know
and it's
that.
a homophobic movie.
It is not a homophobic movie. And I must say, the moment we walked out of that movie, Jackson goes, she's gay, right? So even with the notes, I don't know if it completely worked. But it's like, I didn't see Lightyear. Maybe I'm a part of the problem. And yes, there was a lot of press and there were a lot of news articles about the same-sex kiss. I don't think that's why Lightyear didn't do well at the box office.
Guys,
You just love to blame the gays for any and every fucking thing. If there's any way we can in the future be less inclusive, we will jump off a bridge to do just that.
We are responsible for so much in people's heads, all the good and all the bad as well. Just blame us for everything, guys.
I know.
We are the scapegoats all the
true.
time. And it's hard.
Matt Steele did threaten to cry on camera today, and maybe it's going to happen.
Now, I said if everyone on the live stream joined Patreon, then I would cry live on the podcast.
Well, it's starting. It's happening.
I would check the Patreon, see if we
got enough numbers.
If the numbers are correct.
Hey, but you know what's the straight's fault? The fact that the winner of The Bachelorette, I didn't watch this season, but he allegedly choked, stalked, and burglarized his ex-girlfriend. Trigger warning to anyone who, this rings true to or it's too close to. But basically, Jin Tran, the show's first Asian bachelorette, chose her final man. And the guy she chose, Devin Strader, ended up humiliating her and ghosting her in between the time that she picked him and then after the final rose taping. Basically, he just completely stopped returning her calls. And not the next time she saw him was at that taping.
Okay, it's horrible that he did all that.
Yes.
And I assume more is coming in this story that's extra horrible.
Right.
But it's horrible that you did the ghosting and everything. But if you're gonna do that, why would you do that before?
I know.
The reunion show where
Get your head on.
you will get dragged for filth.
Straights are morons. The straight dudes on the show, but it's also okay. Let me explain. Basically, people are now horrified by the revelation that Strader had a restraining order and arrest record from 7 years ago when he allegedly stalked, choked, spit on, and burglarized his ex-girlfriend. The woman, whose identity is anonymous, filed a restraining order against him in 2017. After receiving the order, Strader allegedly returned to her home and set the order on fire in her front yard. Later, Louisiana police arrested him for breaking into her apartment and destroying her property. He pled guilty to criminal trespassing and damage to property under $500. And to this I say, how in the fuck was this person cast on The Bachelorette? The fact that they do background checks, they claim, and this person with an actual criminal record that they could have found prior to, you're putting this woman in danger, literal actual danger. He has a history of this. And that's the thing. The finale, she was iconic, supposedly, for people who watch, because she proposed to him the first time, a woman has ever proposed to a man on the Bachelor franchise. But it just is okay, I realize reality TV, we want to make it salacious. We want to make it widely talked about. We don't want to make it dangerous for the people involved. And The Bachelor has gone through this kind of thing where there was an incident on Bachelor in Paradise, which led to them having a 2-drink maximum on that show. And it's just as The Bachelor and Bachelorette has been under the hot light of people paying attention to this for a while, and the fact that this slipped through the cracks and he won the fucking show, like the fact that he ghosted her might have been a fucking blessing in disguise, because this guy has a history of being very dangerous. And it's not to say that people cannot change, but like if this is something you have done, you don't need to be on a reality dating show in the future. You just don't.
Of course. And I'm like surprised that this vetting process for the Bachelorette especially, because it's like, yeah, there's so many reality shows where it's like, ooh, you want someone a little messy. You want someone who's going to like make TV and everything. The Bachelor and Bachelorette is not that. Like the Bachelor and Bachelorette, I feel like they are just like, we want to create a Prince Charming princess facade.
And it's like you do.
So I can't believe the vetting process wasn't as like hardcore as you would think it should be.
The thing is, I believe they cast for mess every once in a while.
Sure.
But not this
harmless
kind of mess. Harmless mess. And they've done something like this before. Rachel Lindsay, who was the first black bachelorette, basically they cast this guy who you could see him basically getting in fights with the other. He was a white man who was getting in fights with the other black contestants throughout the show. And as the show is airing, his old tweets come back up, and he's a full-fledged racist, like an anti-black racist person who's on television courting this black woman who's the first black bachelorette. And it's like, why are you not protecting these women? Like, I just really, really turned my stomach. I'm so happy to not be watching that show anymore. I am watching The Golden Bachelorette, and if you do something bad to Joan, I'll fucking kill you, ABC. Don't do this. You've got to keep these people protected, especially the women who are like, I'm really putting myself out there. Like, these men can be dangerous, and you need to do your due diligence at a much deeper level than what you're doing clearly right now. Because it's just like, no. It's sickening.
Yeah.
In happier news, Sabrina Carpenter has a new Netflix holiday special.
Oh, like a live?
No, it's been filmed.
Okay.
I believe it's been filmed.
Filmed already?
I think so, because I mean, there's a prequel, like there's a preview for it where she's in like, you know, Mariah Christmas garb, and she's like, we're expecting somebody else. It's pretty cute, and it's the special is called A Nonsense Christmas with Sabrina Carpenter.
Cute.
And it's debuting on Netflix December 6th. I'm excited to see who are the guests going to be for that. If it's Mariah, that'd be lovely.
Yeah.
And the reviews are in for Katy Perry's new album, and they have ripped 143, her new album, to shreds. It has a Metacritic score of 34, which supposedly is the lowest Metacritic score in at least a decade. And to that I say, I haven't finished the album. And like, okay, she should not be working with Dr. Luke. It's a bad look, absolutely. To me, the album felt like heartless and anonymous, but outside of Woman's World and maybe another track or two, I didn't think it was like actively terrible. It was more honestly boring. It was more like, remember when you had a personality and like you wanted to see the peacock cock? It's like, oh, that's like, I get your point of view here. And this really felt like it could have been made by anyone.
Did it just sort of feel like, oh, I'm just putting out an album just because why not? I'll put out an album.
And like, it felt like it had nothing to do with her. You know, it just was like so nothing. But I feel like a part of me feels bad for the piling on of her, but a part of me is like, but you kind of set yourself up with the Dr. Luke of it all. So I'm of two minds, but it's just wild to me that it got such dreadful reviews, because I feel like in recent times, reviewers have gotten a bit nicer. Like, I feel like it's not the culture these days to completely tear something down, but maybe they felt like, well, everybody hates, she's like in a bad place, you know, with the audience anyways. Maybe we can just like go no holds barred here. But it's just like, oof. It's just a tough thing to say.
How would you say it compares to Witness?
I mean, again, I haven't finished the listening process of it. Witness, I would say at least she was trying to do something. I think the results are worse on Witness.
Okay.
But this is just so...
Because Witness has some swings.
It does. This has no swings.
Okay.
These are all bunts. These are all like,
I'm chilling in the dugout. I'm with Lauryn Hill on the couch.
Right.
Just like, yeah.
I may show up to the studio or not. They sound like they were written by AI, but they don't sound like, oh, I'm really trying to do something and failing. It just sounds like I'm not doing anything, you know?
Okay.
So that's that update. And lastly, we saved this till edge because it's just dark. Also, another trigger warning. I feel like we've had too many this episode. Sean Diddy Combs has been indicted on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. And we have been following this, you know, story for a while, and he was not in custody for a long time. But he was as of last week, and the federal indictment was unsealed last week. Basically, the charges are tied to quote-unquote freak-offs, which are a coerced sex acts that Combs allegedly orchestrated and recorded. Agents seized various freak-off supplies, including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. They also seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers. And basically, he was coercing women that I think he knew in real life to perform sex acts with hired male sex workers. He would tape it, and like everyone would be on all these drugs. He'd videotape it half for his own pleasure and half to like blackmail these women if they ever wanted to come forward. And he is now rightly in custody. I believe he tried to post a $50 million bail, and the judge was like, you know what? How about no? And I think that's for the best. Like the fact that so many people in his orbit, the thing about like shit like this and like the Harvey Weinsteins is like there are so many people around this person that know that this is going on and doing nothing. Like Dawn Richard, like the week before this happened, came out with her own lawsuit, and it was talking about, we were at a table when he like physically assaulted Cassie in front of like people whose names I'm not 100% sure of, so I won't say, but they are celebrities. And she's like, I went outside with her. No one else even looked. Whoa. No one said anything. There are just so many eyes on this horrible action, this horrible person, and no one's brave enough to step in. And I realize Diddy is powerful. He is a person who's had power in the industry for a long fucking time. But it's just so beyond disgusting and horrifying. The fact that so many people and women have gone through this really makes me sick. Like, I throw him under the jail. Like, this is, I can't, like, you, again, another unsafe man who doesn't need to be walking the streets. Diddy, you are that. And if what is being alleged is true, my heart breaks for every person who's been impacted. And I'm looking sideways at every person in his inner circle who said and did nothing. Yeah. You know?
The fact that it's like this whole organized, like, it feels like an organization.
Absolutely.
Like a whole machine that he has somehow created.
Yes.
And invested so much money into, and that no one was talking about it. Is horrifying.
It's horrifying.
Yeah,
so
because I can't fathom anything like that happening. Period.
No,
because I'm not in that bubble. I guess, but like, oof, horrible. I'm glad that he's finally been apprehended because it was been a while since like, all of this has sort of started.
And I was worried that he had like fled the country or something. Yeah. So I'm glad if what is being alleged is true, and it really does seem like it is. I'm glad that he is not on the streets anymore. But I will always go back to what happens to these powerful men when they become so powerful. And maybe I hope and pray it was men of a certain time, but they think, let me coerce people into sexual situations in which I can exert my power over them, like in which they're not even consenting to be a part of this, and I'm going to blackmail them just because it's my right, because I have this much money, because I have this much power. Like, what? I mean, every person's, like, people have sick minds, I guess, because, like, what are you getting out of that? Like, why is this what really brings a smile to your face? If I was that rich, I would do anything but that. I'd buy a fucking house. I'd retire.
Yes.
I would be happy.
You'd be Lauryn Hill.
I'd be
Lauryn
Hill.
On the couch.
I would be on the couch.
And Lin-Manuel will call you up, and you'd be like, yeah, why not? I like you.
I would be on my way. I wouldn't cancel as many tours, but otherwise, I'd do a lot of what Lauren's doing and nothing of what Diddy's doing. Yeah. So I don't get it. It makes me sick. Any other news?
I don't think so. Ooh, rough one. Rough one here at Two Gay Mats. You need a vacation after this one.
This is why I'm taking the vacation, because I was reading what was coming up and for the news for idiots this week.
You need to relax. And you know what people love to do in Spain? Take their little siestas. Nothing but relaxation.
Is it bad that that's what I'm like most excited about?
Oh, it's like Spain invented the nap.
Hello?
Like that is what they do.
I'm going to be eating ham, drinking sangria, and napping.
Yeah.
This sounds like my kind of place.
Yeah, sure. It's so I once like one of my friends, he's from Mexico, and I'm just like, what's like a stereotype that like people from Mexico have with like people from Spain and vice versa and everything? And he's just like, people from Mexico get very annoyed by people in Spain because he's like, all they do is fucking sleep. All they do is fucking sleep, and they're so relaxed and they're so proud of it.
That's my kind of place. Can't wait to be a part of that.
You were born for that luxury,
and I'm a part in that.
How do you say luxury in Espanol?
I don't know. You know, I fell off my Duolingo.
You did.
I really did. So we'll see how all of that goes.
That's something you can do on the plane. Look up how to say luxury in Spanish.
Hopefully they have free Wi-Fi, because if not.
It's going to take that whole fucking flight for it to tell you.
Absolutely. Matt Steele, is there any other news for idiots you want to share with the people?
Oh, God, no.
Okay, well, we'll be right back with more 2 Gay Mats, the podcast.
Okay. All right.
You can click that one. So. Not come on, ham.
Come on, ham.
I don't know if y'all saw, but Pink got canceled this week too. Something about Israel. I saw something about Pink, but I didn't know the details of that. Siesta. Yes, I'll be siesta-ing a lot. So y'all get ready. Oh, I think we got 3 emails.
Oh, God. I always say those words.
I know.
And people are just like, I'll do it.
People want to be a part of that.
I know.
I'm 5. Look, 5.
Oh, y'all are just crazy.
1 for Taylor Swift.
Okay. All right.
Thank God. No more news. Yeah, I'm sorry. It just was a tough week.
It was a hard week. And that's why we're going to take a week off.
Yes. What are you going to do next Sunday night?
Oh God, work and then go home and do nothing.
Watch Big Brother.
It's gonna be great.
Yes, it'll be great.
I will watch Big Brother.
Yes.
I will watch Big Brother. I mean, I'm gonna watch Big Brother tonight too. But
of course.
All right. I'm sorry. I have to finish that. How does this post sound?
Oh, girl, it sounds fine. Click post.
No, because I've been talking and trying to write at the same time because my mom is just like, post something tonight. Okay. My stepdad Michael is now the recipient of the David Whatever Lifetime Achievement Award at this year's Perry Awards, honoring his years of work in community theater for the entire state of New Jersey. Little did I know when my brother and I convinced him to be in the ensemble of The Sound of Music in 2001 that he would have such a remarkable career of designing, producing, teaching, and performing ahead of him. I'm so proud of everything he's done and can't wait to see the amazing art he'll create next. I just wanted to see if there were any typos.
No, none.
Okay,
no typos.
great.
Looks,
love it.
beautiful.
Okay, sorry guys, I just had to do that.
Moop. OMG, finding out I belong in Spain. That's the thing. I mean, you hear
it's for you.
Hear about a siesta?
It's only an airplane ride away, baby.
A long one.
A long one.
11 hours.
There's longer. I feel like the longest flight for us is like United Arab Emirates. I think that I looked that up. You know what I like to watch on like Facebook videos of like flight patterns?
You're so weird.
Those like Facebook reels.
You watch stuff I never watch.
I love it. Like anything like science-y.
You also love like a pimple popping video.
Ooh, love that. Oh, those are the reels I watch. I don't watch fucking comedy.
Okay, no, we have comedy reels up and ready to be consumed.
but like, no, this is like a podcast comedy type thing.
Sure.
Like stuff that's sort of just like, oh, watch this funny dance. I mean, you know my thoughts on funny dances.
Oh my God.
But like stuff that's like more sciencey. You know what I love? Color mixing videos. Could watch them all day.
I don't get it.
I love it.
I speak Spanish and do not know. Pink and Usher both deleted all their tweets. Usher's tweets are back up. Apparently there was some issue there. If Chappell really doesn't want to win a Grammy, then she can withdraw her nomination from the awards like The Weeknd did. I mean, I think her team wants a Grammy to win, even if she personally doesn't.
Yeah.
I sometimes look up how long flights are. Oh, I absolutely would do that.
Oh, I love doing that.
I'm not watching like a plane.
Ooh, I love because sometimes they like fly over the North Pole, and I'm like, because you always expect like, oh, we're just driving like around not driving, but like going around like the center of the Earth, like.
Right.
Latitudinally,
okay,
but sometimes you're going longitudinally to get there faster, and it's always surprising to see how we get there.
It does not surprise me. I just look at it when I'm in a plane and I'm like, how close are we?
I love it.
Are we close? OMG, your friend who did guess which Matt hates this song should be a guest. Matt loves this Insta reel. That's funny. I mean, I have said that maybe there'd be a video with Travis while I'm gone.
Yeah, I would love. Maybe I'll come up with an idea.
Yeah.
And like try to like film something with Travis.
Right.
You know.
I mean, I assume you don't want to try to figure out a podcast next week, do you? No.
No, it wouldn't be a podcast type situation.
But the thing is, it's we can take a week off.
I don't have the microphone.
I listen to a lot of podcasts and people take a lot of weeks off. So next week's gonna be one.
Yeah.
My sister tracks some planes, and if one's going over, she randomly knows where it's coming from and where it's going.
I love that.
Do you have an early flight? No, our flight's not until 5 p.m., so I'm hoping to sleep a bit on the flight. I'm pretty good at sleeping on planes, so I think that can happen.
So the story of the film The Odyssey recently.
Oh, that's
Very
cool. Have you decided which Emo My Hearts we're doing?
Oh, no, I haven't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Not good. Just wanted, maybe there's some good ones, some ones that are jumping out at you.
All right.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, guys. I'm a little scatterbrained today.
That's okay.
It's just...
Flight patterns are directly related to cost. My sister will not take Indian Airlines, as cheap as they are, because they fly over Russia. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. I'm really good at sleeping on a long flight. I feel bad for those who can't. Yeah, Jackson's not good at sleeping on planes. I'm hoping he does. We also got some melatonin for the flight, so maybe with the melatonin.
Ooh, knock yourself out. You know what helps sleep on flights? Anti-nausea.
Oh, really?
Like a Dramamine.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Thing.
I love that.
So you won't have a stomachache and you won't fall asleep.
I love that.
I remember. When I flew from London, we had a layover in like Florida or something. I was like, I slept so much on my flight from London to Florida.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be awake for this flight from Florida to LA. And my friend Fernanda was just like, take my anti-nausea thing. It'll like make you a little tired and you'll sleep a little bit. Literally the second it went into my system, I was like, I was gone.
Hey, whatever works.
Yeah. What'd you think of Jacob Collier? Did you follow Brian Stokes Mitchell's advice and look him up?
Well, did you?
No.
I will. And I know he works with JoJo, so anyone who worked with JoJo is someone that I like. That new K-pop song, Touch, has been stuck in my head. My next vacation in January in Mexico, Cancun probably. Any resort recommendations? We love everyone, and we love kids, but I will say, there's nothing like an adults only resort. Nothing like it. So if you are an adult and and we love families, but also you're not bringing your family, it's just relaxing. It's quieter.
Yeah. There's less kids splashing in that pool that you want to sit by.
Benadryl worked with my kids, drugged them both. Benadryl is, even when I need to take Benadryl, I'm like, woo, this knocks you out. It's wild. I'm like scared.
Yeah. Yeah, I take like half a Benadryl rarely. I rarely have like an allergy thing that I need to take a Benadryl for, and I'm gone. It's not so much that I like sleep. I'm kind of just like, I always just sit there and I'm just like, it's like thoughts are going through my brain, but I don't realize that they're going through my brain.
Interesting.
And I'm like, I absolutely despise this feeling. And I'm like, that must be what Alice Ripley was singing about when she was singing She Missed the Mountains.
Hey, a song you hate.
I can't say I hate that song. It's just kind of just like the metaphor's a little much. It's just the metaphors. I do have to listen to it again.
You should.
I feel like I should give that song a second chance.
Should give the whole show.
I mean, the show in itself is just like, regardless of like how like the hardcore the metaphor for I Miss the Mountains is, it's just like it is an affecting show. Like she's going through it in that show. I will never forget sitting there and just being like, fuck. I am so emotional.
I mean, there's a reason I saw it live.
You saw it so many times.
I saw it, I think, 5 times. I don't think there's certainly not a Broadway show, but I don't think there's a piece of theater I have seen more often than Next to Normal. And I haven't seen it in a while. They need to do a fucking, not reboot. What is it in theater?
Revival. I mean, it's in London right now, and they're doing a pro shot for it.
Oh, I can't wait to watch.
Maybe it'll transfer.
Who's the lead? Do you know?
Cassie Levy. Cassie Levy.
I don't know.
Levy or Levy?
I don't know.
Don't know. She was the Elsa in Frozen on Broadway.
Oh, nice.
She was Fantine in recent Les Mis Broadway revival. She was in Carolina Change Broadway revival a couple of years ago. She's great.
All right.
My brother saw it with Ryan, his fiance, and my brother during intermission turned to Ryan just to because my brother had seen it. He saw the original Broadway production too. Yeah. But Ryan had never seen it, didn't know what it was about. Turned to Ryan. He was just like, and Ryan was fucking sobbing.
It's hard not to.
Yeah.
The shit that happens.
I know. And Alice Ripley was out of control.
And I know that she's like a problematic figure these days, but she was.
Oh, that was a while ago.
Remember that?
Yeah. What's she up to?
That was bad.
That was rough. Bad. It was a rough time.
But yeah, she was great in that show.
Yeah.
Matt, have you got your Euros ready? Yes, we have some Euros. But I feel like last time, at least in Costa Rica, they took cards everywhere. And so I was, it was pretty easy. I'd probably need to call my bank just to be like, hey, I'm going to be in Spain. So don't think it's not a real charge, because it is.
All right, so I'm still looking at all the questions.
What's the messy email? I don't know. Tell us if they're messy. Are they messy?
I don't think any of these emails are messy. I know. Right. I'm just like... It's hard to read and also narrate a podcast.
Right, exactly.
Hence why I had to read the Facebook post that I posted out loud to all of you. Okay.
All right.
These are all good questions.
I love it.
I'm just like making I'm just making sure like none of these are like timely specifically for this week. So we can answer them
When we get back.
Right.
And any make sure they're not things that like take a lot of research.
No, nothing is like researchy.
Great. I love to not research.
Yeah. So
Emails you can't send. Great album.
it is a great album.
It's a great album.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What is the messy email?
I don't know. Maybe there's no messy one. That's okay.
Yeah, it's fine, guys. You know.
Okay. Are we ready for part 2?
Sure. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
It's very funny. I was in the live stream and I was just like, we didn't really get any email on my hearts this week. And then people sent like 6. So I was going through all of them and they're all wonderful. Thank you. But Matt Palmer, before we do any of those,
yes,
give us your, AD.
Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to or watching the podcast. We really enjoy doing this and wanted to reach as many people as possible. So go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and leave us a 5-star rating or review. We do only accept 5 stars. It would mean so much to us. It helps us so much, and the algorithm would let Spotify and Apple know that you like what you're hearing, and that's what we want them to know. So, and if you really enjoy us, go to patreon.com/2gaymats, where you can get extra bonus content from us very regularly. Our Renaissance review 2 years later is coming up this week, if I remember to edit it before we go.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can join the Discord and hang out with friends you haven't met yet. It's a joy, and we'd love to have you there.
We'd love to have you guys.
Yes.
There. All right. So this is Email My Heart. This is the section of the podcast where we answer any questions that you guys have. You can be a part of Email My Heart if you email us at 2gaymats@gmail.com. 2 is spelled TWO.
Yes.
So we got a number of emails. So a couple of these will be in 2 weeks we'll answer because they're all actually very good questions.
Oh, I love it.
And I was just, and none of them are super timely that we have to answer this week. So
Right.
I'll just go in the order that we received them.
Okay.
So first question comes to us from Brad. Brad says, forever stuck on my first love.
Oh.
Hi, Matt. I've listened to just about every single podcast out there trying to get over my first love and nothing is working. I'm starting to think it's never going to happen for me. And I know my friends and family are tired of hearing about it. Heck, I'm tired of talking about it. I'm doing therapy. I'm taking care of my mental health and we aren't communicating. He's blocked too and I am not stalking, but yet I just can't imagine my life without him, romantically or friendship wise. How can someone you love so dearly go from being your best friend and lover to a complete stranger overnight? Where is the closure? Please, I'm hoping you have some advice or some people in the chat have some advice that will finally click. I promise I am trying. Brad. It's hard and it sucks.
And we've all been there.
And honestly, like the thing with the only thing that is going to help is time.
And I know that sucks to hear.
It sucks. It blows so fucking bad.
But it's truly the truth. Like I would say Matt Steele and I have both had very devastating breakups in our past. And it truly is like it hurts until it hurts less until it doesn't hurt. Like it's like, and the thing is, if it helps you, I feel like the first time you get your heart like fully broken,
it's the
worst one.
It's the worst thing. It takes years. It took years for me.
It took a minute.
And now I just love talking about it. Like, but the thing is, like, I was so devastated, like, after my first breakup and everything. But now it's gotten to a point that when I talk about it and him, like, I love talking about it because, like, I did care about him so much and I did love him so much that, like, I do love looking back on it now and being like, I was, so young and I was so happy. Like, I can't wait to feel that again, because I do still have, like, very fond feelings for him. I'm not in love with him anymore.
Right.
And looking back, I'm just like, oh, we needed to break up. You go through life and you experience things, and so you will probably always have fond feelings for this person. I mean, like fond in the sense that like I wish them fucking well. Don't give me that fucking look. You don't know how this relationship ended. It could have ended.
I'm not talking about
amicably.
you. I'm not saying you.
No, I'm talking about Brad.
I know, but I have also gone through a breakup, and like I don't think the word I'd use about my breakup.
Oh well, he fucking sucked. He fucking sucked.
I wouldn't say the word fond, but I would say I would say what you should do now is just invest in the relationships currently in your life. Like, I think if you've decided the no contact method is the best for you, which it was the best for me, I think the only thing you can do now is like take every day at a time, invest in the relationships in your life now, be they romantic or friendship wise. Focus on your friends, focus on like the life that is in front of you these days, because that door at this point is very closed. And Matt Steele is right. It's only going to take time. There's going to be a time where you look back and like it doesn't hurt the way it hurts now. You know, it's just, and I feel like no matter what happens, if like you do become friendly again, if you think about him fondly or don't think about him at all, it's not always going to feel like this. And I promise you that.
Yeah, and just like honestly, like go on dates. Go like do the Hinge or like whatever you need to do, and like you will go on some dates where you're like, well, this was boring, or like, well, this like didn't go anywhere. Like go on dates not with the intention of like finding the one. Go on dates just like, I'm bored, I want to meet someone. Totally. Maybe I'll make a friend out of the situation. I've gone on 5 trillion fucking dates, and I'm so happy I went on all of them. It's like I've gotten to meet some like interesting people. Some people who I'm just like, oh, that wasn't the most interesting thing, but like, hey, I got a free dinner out of the situation. or at least I got to have a nice little conversation, like out of the situation. I got to go out and meet people, and you start to like realize more like what you're looking for, or it's just like just meeting new people and getting like more life experience is what it takes, you know, because you realize like, oh, this thing that I was so heartbroken over, like however many years ago, like isn't as pressing, you know, right now.
And there's nothing we can say that's going to make it hurt less now, but I'm promising you it will not always feel this way. You will get over it. Life will go on. It just is going to move a bit slowly at this very moment. Invest in the people in your life. Go on those dates if you're ready to do it. Try new restaurants, you know, invest in hobbies. Just like focus your energy elsewhere until thinking about him doesn't cause you so much pain.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
it will happen.
It will. We promise.
Whether that is 6 months from now or 6 years from now.
Yes.
And that sounds daunting. But you know what? Life is daunting. Life is fucking daunting.
Life is not easy.
Yes.
We believe in you. You're going to get there.
Yeah. You're going to get there. It'll be great. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yes.
You're doing fabulously. This one's going to get us canceled.
Oh, Lord.
But, you know, a lot of celebrities are in hot water this week, so why not us? Because it's not just about Taylor Swift. It's about Reputation.
Oh, guys.
Are you ready for it? Reputation.
Yes.
TV. This email comes to us from Taylor Swift herself.
Oh, perfect.
Someone has an email address that's Taylor Swift, and it's iconic. Hi, Mats. Are you ready for it? You know my Reputation TV announcement is upon us, and I can't wait to be a part of your live reaction. Are you really showing up, Taylor? Because we would love to have you on that live stream. My feelings are delicate, so please be honest. But remember, I am human too. Also, wouldn't you want to get canceled for not loving my work? I respect you guys too much. I'm curious, what overall did you not like about my album in the first place? And what could I do for Reputation TV that would make you like it more? When's the last time you listened to this album all the way through? What are your favorite songs off of this album so far? Which would you be most surprised if you end up liking after listening to Reputation TV that you didn't like when I originally released the album? Your pal Taylor. Don't forget Matt Steele, you once had a dream of us getting married. And Matt Palmer, I finally made Cruel Summer a single. That should count for something.
It's true.
Thank you so much, Taylor. We're so honored that you're a fan of ours, and we love you.
Yes.
So Matt Palmer, first question, what did we not like about the album?
Okay, she was coming off of 1989, and you know, we're talking about like style, blank space, Out of the Woods, like truly some of the best pop music that's ever been made. And it was coming from Taylor, an artist I had loved since Fearless, Red. It was just so exciting to hear. I think the change in direction, I understand for her after the Kanye and Kim of it all, she felt the need to really, you know, go into this persona and make the music sound a little more clangy. And, you know, she just had a point of view that she was trying to express. And I think that's beautiful. We love points of view. Sonically, for me, it felt a little forced. It felt like I don't think of her as a bad girl. I don't think of her stomping around in like leather boots and like really kicking down doors. And I just did not, you know, as like it was clearly a moment when Look What You Made Me Do came out, and Ready for It I really like. But hearing like Endgame felt very limp. Don't Blame Me felt like a knockoff Take Me to Church. Gorgeous needed 12 rewrites or to be cut. Like it just, to me, for someone who is so, you know, specific and particular in her music leading up to that, and like had only been getting sharper and sharper, it just felt a bit like messy and just not not the sound that I wanted to hear. A lot of people love this album, and I think that's great. And I hope you all love it. And if you watch our reaction, know that we already have issues with it. Things that could make it better. I hope New Year's Day is 10 minutes long.
Yes, give us a 10-minute New Year's Day.
Yes, because that's a beautiful, beautiful song. And I don't mind that other ballad near the end, Call It What You Want.
Call It What You Want is lovely.
I think it's lovely. Delicate is a lovely song.
Yeah, Delicate's great. Yeah.
There are highlights, but I'm just saying the entire sound sonically, I think, feels a little forced and a little like playing dress up.
Yes, here's the thing with Taylor Swift, like overall, that I really like about her. It's like I do feel like everything that comes out of her like feels like this is genuinely like her. Like she's just like, I'm gonna be the bad girl, and like she truly like, you know, was just like, I'm gonna do this. Everything's gonna be snakes, and this is gonna be my version of the bad girl and tough and call me a snake. That's what I'll be and everything.
Right.
And I think that's really, really fun. However, not every hat fits everyone.
That's true.
You know, so it's kind of just like if you were to like cast me as a cop in a serious procedural drama on TNT or something like that, I could be the best actor of all time. But you put me in a cop uniform and people would be like, that's
like, this is it.
You know, he's trying.
Yeah.
Like the words that are coming out of his mouth feel genuine and everything, but it's not work.
Yeah, it's just,
you know,
a little bit of a mismatch.
Yes, it's a bit of a mismatch, which every artist has. No artist can do every single solitary thing.
It's true.
Okay, and so so I really admire her for really being like, I'm gonna step out of my comfort zone and do this thing. And there are like a good number of songs on Reputation that I do really like. Ready For It, I think is great. I think New Year's Day is excellent. I love King of My Heart, which Matt Palmer is too hard on. Like there are, I think if it was like a 9-track album, I'd be like, cool, I'm into this, you know, it's something different, but it's overall, it is just sort of like, and I get it. Like at the time, 2017, we were first year of, you know, the president at the time, like things were turning dark, and that was what the kids wanted to hear, was like edgy and like noisy and like, but it's just not what it didn't suit Taylor Swift's strengths, which are songwriting specifically.
For sure.
Like simple songwriting, telling stories specifically. Though I do think the lyrical content on Reputation is pretty solid. Like I think it's a little more personal than 1989, but just sonically, it just didn't match for us. What would I be surprised to like when Reputation TV comes out? I mean, that would be the shock of the century.
Shock of the century.
Shock of the century. That one needs. So thank you so much for writing, Taylor. We love you. We're excited to react to Reputation TV because it'll be an unpredictable night.
It'll be something. It will really be something.
Okay, so this one's a fun one that can be pretty short.
Okay.
This is from Amy. Amy just says, rank these. Hi, Matt Steele and Matt Palmer. I hope this is a fun question for both of you. I'd like to you to rank what would be the most exciting for you versus least exciting. You each have different lists since you have different interests. Matt Palmer. 1, Beyonce releases the visuals.
Okay.
2, Mariah releases a new album. 3, Rihanna releases a new album. 4, you get Apple Vision Pros.
Sorry, I really loved that was one of them. Okay.
5, Kamala Harris wins the presidency. 6, you release your album and it wins a Grammy. 7, Beyonce wins Album of the Year at the Grammys.
Okay. Grammy and then Beyonce Album of the Year. Okay.
Yes. I mean, there's an obvious number one.
I mean, number 1, Kamala wins.
Wait. Really?
I mean, that is the one that is the most important.
That's the one that's most important, but which was the one that's most exciting?
I mean, exciting is hard. It's like Kamala wins. Like, it's the thing. It's like, if this doesn't happen, I will turn to dust.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course. That's the highest stakes one.
Most exciting, Mariah new album.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Over you releasing an album and it wins a Grammy?
If it topped the charts. They made a bunch of money. Like, a Grammy's cool. I'm not really much, like, not to pull a Chappell Roan, I'm not an awards girl.
Okay.
Give me the success. If it hit number 1,
okay,
that would be it.
All right.
Mariah new album. 2, I mean, Mariah new album. 2, Beyonce visuals. 3, Beyonce album of the year. I mean, Kamala wins is number 1. I'm sorry. I'm too scared. Then I release an album with a Grammy, then Rihanna new album, then Apple Vision Pros.
Fuck, you winning a Grammy is so fucking low.
I have watched the Grammys disrespect so many people. Disrespect. Like the best thing about me winning a Grammy would be I'd go on stage and be like, thank you so much for this. So many women who sing R&B music came before me and did not win this award when they should have. So this is from Mariah Carey, Janet Jackson, and I would name, and Beyonce Knowles, who should have an album of the year by now.
But yet you would ironically be a man taking an award probably from a woman.
Hey, if she wanted it, I'd give it to her. Like, I just, like, if it goes number one or like makes a lot of money, like sure, but the actual Grammy,
you're not about material things.
The award doesn't do so much for me.
Sure.
They've disrespected too many of my faves for me to really love.
Wow. Okay.
Right?
Heard that here, Grammy Awards. So for Matt Steele, you get cast in your favorite Broadway show and win a Tony. 2, you produce your next full-length movie. 3, you meet the love of your life. Aww. 4, you get to quit your day job. 5, Kamala Harris wins the presidency.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to say I'm expecting her to win the presidency because that, like, I don't want people to get complacent and everything, but I'm predicting it will happen because things are looking good.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
That might not be near the top.
Wow.
I will be very excited.
Yes.
But because I am predicting it at this point.
Okay.
That the excitement level does not touch me getting cast in a Broadway show and winning a Tony Award.
All right.
You know?
Yeah.
Sorry, am I greedy?
No, you can like what you know. You got to be honest. It's good to be honest.
But I can't put myself before country, the countryman.
You and Trump have that in common.
No, God. Oh, God damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, number 1, get cast in a Broadway, my favorite Broadway show,
yes.
and I win a Tony. Sorry, folks. 2, I produce my full-length movie
I'm excited
next.
for that.
I would say 5, Kamala Harris wins the presidency.
5? Or you mean 3?
The 3, Kamala Harris wins the presidency.
Okay.
It was 5th on the list. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's number 3. I get to quit my day job is next.
Yes.
And I meet the love of my life can be last. Just because.
You're like, I don't care.
If I have a Tony, that's the love of my life.
Lord.
Fuckers.
Yeah, I think your view of the Tonys and my view of the Grammys are very different.
Well, look, it's not like, I need to win a Tony to like. No, the exciting part of that number 1 is like I get cast in a Broadway show, exactly. Which is just like the dream beyond dreams,
Absolutely.
which is,
Absolutely.
But the Tony is, a nice little cherry on top. Okay. Just because I grew up watching the Tony Awards, and it's just like to be, recognized with that. It's just insanely exciting. And meeting the love of my life, it's kind of just like, well, that happens to so many people. That I figure it'll happen one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kamala's number 1 for me. Then Mariah new album.
The only reason why it's not number 1 is because I am predicting it.
Yes.
Because I feel confident and I feel optimistic.
So everyone needs to make Matt Steele's dream come true.
That's true.
Make sure you are registered.
Don't make
to
me
vote.
look like a fucking fool here on 2 Gay Mats, guys.
Because it may be not number 1, but he'd be his number 1 most furious, most disappointed.
Oh, that will be the one where I will crumble on the floor.
Right. That would be devastating to all involved.
Yes.
Okay, Matt Steele.
Yes.
Do you have a 2 Gay minutes? I assume you do.
I almost forgot about 2 Gay minutes.
I wish I shouldn't have brought it up.
Oh, you were so close. So yes,
know.
the guys, this is 2 Gay minutes. This is the part of the podcast where one of the Matts, usually me, rambles about something that the other Matt doesn't give a shit about for 2 minutes and 2 minutes only.
Always Big Brother.
It's always Big Brother
time
this time of year for me. So here I go. Give me my countdown.
3, 2, 1, go.
Before this last week, Leah and Angela started talking about what they would do if they won head of household, and they came up with literally the best plan ever. It was to nominate both Chelsea and T-Core, both of whom are the heads of the 2 opposite sides of the house, but they also have a secret allegiance to each other that people were kind of suspecting. And they both stood the best chances of winning at the end. After Quinn was evicted last week, viewers were desperate for a Leah HOH win. When the feeds came back, we discovered that Leah has won the head of household competition. Yes! And does she immediately decide to chicken out of her great plan for a safer, more boring plan that accomplishes very little? Of course she fucking did! And she decides that instead of getting both sides, quote unquote, mad at her, she's just going to target one side of the house, T-Core, Rabina, and Chemo, even though they're the side that wins less competitions. And she doesn't even nominate T-Core at first. She goes for Chemo and Rabina. Weak, dumb. Who cares about getting both sides mad? When you're both riding the middle, like Leah and Angela, you nominate a person on each side. That way you control the votes, because because Angela becomes the sole decider. God damn it, please. And plus it also keeps both sides going after each other. Also, the whole week the house guests are locked outside of the house in the backyard where they have to live in a carnival-like atmosphere for 7 days called a janky world. They're only allowed to eat pizza, ice cream, and candy and have dance parties and sing little jingles at random times. They're so miserable. It's giving Dire Fest of BB24 and I'm loving it. And people who say they don't like the twist where they have to live in the backyard for a whole week are boring. Girl, grow up. This isn't a vacay. This is Big Brother. Torture them all. I don't care. Angela wins the power of veto and wants to save Chemo to prove to him that she wants to work with him. So Leah, Angela, and MJ, of all people, devise a plan to backdoor T-Core with MJ helping to secure Cam's vote. The plan goes through and T-Core is evicted, which even though this week wasn't as good of a week as it could have been for Leah, T-Core going out wasn't a bad thing for her. Plus, it helped to weaken Chelsea, who was the current frontrunner by a mile. Also, MJ showed a lot of strategic prowess this week, which I was all excited about, but she soon squandered it once Thursday night hit. But we'll talk about that in next week's 2 Gay Minutes. I also want to say watching Chelsea spiral because of her crush over Cam is hysterical because she's getting so mad at him for so many reasons that don't make any sense. It's great.
That was a little over 2 minutes, but
whatever.
Yes. How are you feeling about the show?
Ooh, I'm out of breath. And you know what? It wasn't like it was a frustrating week. But we got through it.
Good.
This week is a little more frustrating.
Oh my.
We'll talk about that the next podcast.
We will.
Which I feel like should be 4 Gay Minutes because then I'll have 2 weeks of Big Brother to talk about.
I think you're going to run out of breath and pass out. I don't need you passing out recording the podcast. We want you to have all that breath in your lungs.
Could you imagine me doing that for 4 minutes?
No. No, I couldn't.
I could do it.
I believe you could. I don't want to test it out.
I could do it.
I believe you could.
I'd win a Tony for that shit.
I bet you would. So I have 2 Give Me Moments to talk about.
This is Giving Me Moments. This is where the Mats talk about great things that we loved this week. Great.
Different content we've consumed that really brought us life. And I have 2 this week. The first one, since Jackson and I have been going back and watching old romantic comedies that maybe I haven't watched because, I didn't grow up watching movies. Pre-Mean Girls, had probably seen a handful of movies. So I'm going back watching things from the early aughts and the 1990s, things like that. And I just got to say, Bridget Jones is everything.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Bridget Jones' Diary is such an excellent film.
And she's so fucking
good.
I know.
Hilarious. Like, I just watched her and Jerry Maguire not that long ago, and she was like a great ingenue leading role. But the comedy on Miss Renee Zellweger is second to none. It was such a brilliant...
She got an Oscar nomination for a romantic comedy.
Good for her.
Yes.
As she should. She is every single thing. And, like, of course... Some things are a little dated, but mostly when she's like, oh, I'm so fat. And you're like, she looks like like 136, babe, you look good. But like Hugh Grant, as much as it's like, I know it's been well documented that this person is an asshole. Like just like
He's just a little grump.
A prickly, grumpy British man. He was so gorgeous and so charming and so so slimy in this role. And it was just like, as soon as he said, because I assume you've all seen Bridget Jones, but essentially she works at this company and publicity company, and Hugh Grant is her boss, and she meets Colin Firth early on. He's very much not into her. They're trying to be set up by their parents, but basically she starts a little bit of a sexual relationship with Hugh Grant, and Colin Firth and she grow to love each other, whatever. But you're watching Hugh Grant in these situations where she's clearly falling in love and he is clearly being a slimy little piece of shit. And you're just like, you're both so good at this. Yeah. You're both so good at this. I'm so insanely invested. I just cared so much. I loved all their friendships. And even though they were very much like, oh, there's this guy in our group, he's clearly a puff. And I'm like, okay.
I love the word puff. I think it's so fucking funny.
I don't know how that goes over in Britain these days, but it was really, really heartwarming and fun. Kept me on the edge of my seat, even though I felt like there were maybe one too many times where they were like keeping, Bridget and Colin Firth apart, where I was just like, no, now's the time. But then at the very end, it all works in a nice, beautiful way. So I just was very invested. Even after a flight from Portland, after our Speedly trip, I was staying up because a lot of times we'll begin one of those shows, usually The Bear. We get 15 minutes in and I'm out like a light. But Bridget Jones.
We love comedy.
We love comedy.
You know what comedy's supposed to do? Put you to sleep.
That's what I heard about comedy. So very, very into Bridget Jones's Diary. I hear the second one is not so good, but that the third one's actually very good. So I hear they're also making a fourth
one, yeah.
So I'm excited to see that.
I've only seen the first one.
I might watch them all because I'm invested and I care. And it also was like, both Colin Firth and Hugh Grant are very famously in Love Actually from the same I don't remember if it's the same director or same writer, but someone similar is involved. So these are all people that I've seen on my Christmases for many years past. So it was exciting to see them in this film. And secondly, I just have to give a shout out to an artist that we have loved separately and together for a long fucking time. JoJo. And I have to tell you this is one of the biggest shockers of the book.
Okay.
Her name is pronounced Joanna Levesque.
Bitch! No, it's not.
It is.
Are you kidding?
She said Levesque, and I was like, wait, what?
Well, what the fuck is that S doing there?
That S is just there to throw us off the trail. Because she said Levesque, and I gasped. There were many gasp-worthy moments of the book.
Maybe she stumbled.
She didn't. She said Levesque multiple times. Her name's Levesque. And so you need to rename your Roomba because
my Roomba's named Joanna Levesque.
That ass ain't supposed to be there, babe.
Oh God, my Roomba is gonna have like a total like identity crisis.
Absolutely. So Miss Joanna JoJo Levesque just put out her memoir. I mean, I don't know if she's calling it a memoir because she's again 35 or something, but she detailing her life as a young child, how she basically was going on the talk show circuit as a very talented, precocious kid, was in love with singing, in love with music, basically was such a free and like confident young girl about her talent, even though like she, like many talented kids, was like very harshly picked on in school, but luckily signs to a record label before she turns 13, and she signs to Blackground, which is, you know, run by Barry. I didn't remember his last name. All I know is he's Aaliyah's Barry, who, she says kinder things than I would say about Barry because of what he did to her and like keeping her locked up in that contract for years and years while she couldn't put out music after The High Road and before her 2016 Mad Love record. It just was really disgusting to see how she was treated as a young person and how she and her mother were completely taken advantage of. Her mom, truly not a stage parent at all. Neither a parent was a stage parent. They were following Joanna's lead as far as like, she really loves this. She wants to do this. And that's always nice to see with child stars. And the whole time she's like, I don't know if I want you in this industry before you're 18. And seeing what happens and the audition for Barry, she sings and like everyone always goes crazy when she sings because she's a young girl who like sounds like an adult, soulful woman. And he basically doesn't say anything, responds initially. He's like, I'm sorry, I just had a vision. And she's like, huh, what? She's like, baby girl just came to me and said, you're the one. Meaning Aaliyah, who had passed away, came to him in a vision to tell you that JoJo was the one. Like, he's just so insanely manipulative to this family who's clearly outside of the business. They signed JoJo to such a predatory deal. And like, while she's making hits and doing big things for Blackground, he's turning like her main producer, Vincent Herbert, who went on to manage Gaga against her because basically they get into a big falling out. He stops working with JoJo out of like dislike of Barry. And then, as The High Road's taking off, Too Little Too Late's this giant hit, apparently Barry is going out of his way to like literally send goons and threaten radio programmers and people in the industry. So it's like no follow-up single does well because he's completely fucking her over. Again, this person is 15, and the fact that she has come to this place in her life after signing to Atlantic and not going exactly the way she wanted to, after, you know, she's putting out her own music, but all the time she's like getting feedback from these higher level executives telling her like, I think you should do songs like this. I think you should do songs like this. Like When Love Hurt, she's like, I never liked that song. I hated that song. But the entire label was like, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. So she's like, I just put my voice on it. I just do it. And I'm never 100% behind it. And then when they don't perform well, like, it's like, I'm like, see, you shouldn't have gone with this. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure when we reacted to that was the one we were like, this one's fine.
Yeah, we were just like, this is nice and everything. It's like, you could tell. It's just like, this isn't what she wants to do.
Her heart was in it. And she's just like, and it took her so long to really trust her inner voice of like, this is the music that I should be making. Like, this is what I should be doing. And I'm just proud of her that she has gotten to that point in her life that she feels confident in her choices, her taste, her point of view, because she had managers who would tell her like, you're just allergic to success. You wouldn't know a hit if it hit you in the face. Like, just people undermining her point of view because she was a young person when she started and she was a young person when, you know, going through the business. And yeah, it just is a really beautiful, harrowing story that I would recommend for everyone. It's so candid and so clear-headed, and I feel like she's in such a strong place in her life and career and her like knowing herself as a musician, like she has earned the right to make all her choices going forward. She's completely independent now. She's going to be putting out a new single called Porcelain at some point soon, according to the end of this book. And I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be
I
great.
mean, the thing that always struck me about JoJo, even when she was a young girl, because that's where I got to know her is through like the Destination Stardom. And like seeing her on TV as a literal child was just like the sophistication that she had in her voice and in her musicality as a child was just remarkable. And so to the record executives like insinuating that she doesn't know good material or like good music, and it's just like the things that she was doing as a child were so good.
Right.
So it's just like, that's absurd. And honestly, moral of the story is like, don't trust if someone comes up to you and says, I had a vision of this, and then they describe someone that they know as if they were like the Virgin fucking Mary appearing to them.
Yes.
Run away. That
Absolutely.
person sucks.
Yes.
So yeah.
It is a great book, and I would recommend getting it. I listened to the audiobook, and then we were in Portland, and we went to Powell's, this giant bookstore there. I got the physical copy, so I have both. So if JoJo wants to come over and sign it, she's always welcome.
Always welcome, Joanna.
Always welcome,
Levesque.
Joanna Levesque. Oh. A surprise.
A surprise.
Matt Steele.
Yes.
What's been giving you moments?
I saw 3 movies.
Oh.
One I saw last night. Guys, if you want to feel old, I certainly do. It's the 10-year anniversary of one of the greatest movies of all time, in my opinion, Whiplash, which I saw last night. They're doing like a special 10th anniversary screening of it. Yeah. Y'all know I'm a Damien Chazelle stan, and Whiplash was the beginning of it all. I remember seeing it in 2014, and like my life was fucking changed. And that shit fucking holds up, ladies and gentlemen. Like it's so funny though, like seeing like a movie, the Damien Chazelle's first the big budget feature. Because I'm like, oh, Damien Chazelle, like, you know, he had the budget of that budget on La La Land and First Man and Babylon, like these very, very expensive movies. And then you see Whiplash again, which was a pretty low budget movie, and you're just like, oh, whoa, this is so much. Like, there's such a difference in budget like between this and he got so much money to do La La Land. Like, it's truly incredible. I mean, I've talked about this movie 5,000 times on the podcast, but it was just wonderful seeing it again. Another movie I saw was a horror movie. I saw 2 kind of horror-ish movies. Again, and the first one I saw was Speak No Evil with James McAvoy, which is a remake of a Dutch movie that came out in like 2022, I think. And it's about a family, an American family. They go on vacation in like Italy. They meet this British family, and this British family is like a little hippy dippy and like weird. And James McAvoy plays this doctor who feels very like kind of like new agey and like really touts his intelligence and his intelligence a lot. Like one of those like annoying people who like seems pretty like wealthy, but like very into like, I live on a farm and, you know, I'm like a man of the earth and everything. Who I would look at him and be like, girl, I do not want to be friends with you. But these Americans were just like, we need some friends. So the James McAvoy family and they have a child who doesn't talk. And they invite this American family to their farm in England. And this family discovers weird things about him. Things just keep getting weirder and weirder and weirder. And I'm not going to spoil the ending, but obviously, like, James McAvoy and his wife are not good people.
Oh, Lord.
And they essentially, like, entrap this family in the house with them. And a thing that I'm not going to spoil anything else because I don't want to give it away, but a thing that I loved about this movie is it builds the creepiness so well, and it's such a slow burn. Like it feels like it's like, oh, we really get to know these people, and each tiny little thing builds on itself, and you just get a little more creeped out each time. But then when it's discovered who these people are, it then suddenly becomes kind of funny. Like funny. Because this American family is trying to figure out what the fuck to do and how to get themselves out of this situation. Yeah. And they're such just real people. So the things they do are kind of messy, and they're just like, okay, well, I'm going to put on gloves. And like, I'm trying to figure, it's like these people are in this such a high stakes environment, like trying to save their own lives. Right. It's like, you don't know how we would probably be hysterical in that situation, like, because we're making all these like dumb choices, and we're so not confident with our like survival skills that we're just like, just throw this. Like it suddenly becomes really funny, but while still spooky as well, funny in a spooky way. And
would I like this movie? Austin said I wouldn't.
It's a little graphic, not like the most graphic, but like you wouldn't. you wouldn't like be repulsed by it.
Okay.
But it's not as graphic as the next movie we're going to talk about.
Oh, Jesus.
But yeah, so I mean, the performances are very good. James McAvoy is like really excellent. There's a lot of memes of him online of him. He's shirtless and in his underwear in many scenes in this movie.
Great.
Those are going pretty viral online, you know, because he does look very good.
That's good.
Yes. And so that movie's really great. But also, I saw The Substance as well, starring Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley. And that is a movie. It did really well at Cannes Film Festival or Sundance, one of the two. It won Best Screenplay there. I think it was Cannes. And it is essentially a body horror suspense movie. This huge, elaborate, like sort of cartoony, colorful, like commentary on like beauty standards for women in the industry. And Demi Moore is this aging actress / I think she's mostly known for like her exercise videos, and she's feeling old, she's feeling ugly, and it's like, girl, you look fucking stunning. Shut the fuck up. But she feels like her career is over.
Right. She
has this obsession with her body and looking younger and everything. And so then she gets information about something called The Substance, which is like an injection where you essentially become the better version of yourself. It advertises itself as, and I'm not going to go into any detail, but the turns this movie makes is they're fucking insane. Like, and truly nothing, the very end, nothing of that you see in the trailer at all. So you are not expecting what happens in the last 25 minutes to happen. And it is so bonkers. I went there on a Friday night. The theater was full. People were screaming in the movie theaters because it's funny and disgusting and wild. Like the turn is absolutely insane and hilarious and horrifying and devastating. It's so many things at once. And a thing that I loved about it was there's very little dialogue. Like it's a lot of just like shots of just like everybody's just looking at each other in the mirror, like Demi looking at herself in the mirror and Margaret Qualley, who plays a version of Demi Moore, in the mirror. But the story is so clear and you know exactly what these women are thinking and how they are feeling. I think a lot of that stuff is told through editing really well as well. And so it's just such an impressive movie. Again, it's very, very, very broad. Like we are not going for like naturalism at all. Like and the breakdowns that like Demi Moore has and that Margaret Qualley eventually have are so nuts and so just like everything feels so visceral and you will just be shocked. So if you don't mind a little bit of, you know, gore, there's a little bit of moments where, you know, some people's bodies are open and being sewn in certain ways that it's difficult to watch, especially the end. I have never seen so much bodily fluid on screen in a long time. And yeah, so it's a lot, but if you want something that will keep you watching, it is that. Demi Moore's fucking excellent. Fucking excellent.
Will she get nominated for this?
I think she could. I mean, some people might think that like, oh, is the movie too, gory for nominators to be, or like a nominated committee to nominate. But like, actors tend to, I think they're a little more open-minded when it comes to like actors and movies that take risks.
Okay.
So I also think it could get in for screenplay because there's always a screenplay nomination where it's like, oh, that one's a saucy screenplay, you know. So I think those two branches are particularly open-minded. So I would love to see Demi Moore get nominated. I think it'll definitely get in for like makeup, stuff like that. I love production design. I'd love editing. I think a screenplay nomination would be really cool. I don't know. It was just very impressive. A very audacious film.
I'm scared of it already.
It's truly
right.
And you're halfway through and you're just like, oh, how can this get any more wild? And bitch, it does. It does.
I assume this one is an absolutely not. I should not.
This
watch.
is not a Matt Palmer movie.
Okay, thank you. That's what it sounded like.
If you couldn't handle just a little bit of elephant poop in Babylon,
I couldn't.
You would not. This is one you should just be Lauryn Hill on your couch sitting out.
Done.
Sitting it out.
I'm gonna sit that one out, and I'm okay with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, but if you don't mind that stuff, go for it.
Give it a watch. Okay. Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening and or watching. Is there anything else you have to tell the people?
I don't think so.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Again, we're going to be off next week with the podcast, so I hope everyone has a good couple of weeks, and then we'll be back with more 2Gay Mets, the podcast.
Bye.
Bye. Cute. We did it.
Cute, guys.
Oh, my gosh.
Good work.
Now I'm really off. I can just relax.
Well, you have to upload this.
I know that.
I mean,
Give
that's
me some
work.
joy.
So you're not totally off the
It doesn't
clock.
take that much work. And then I have to upload it, and I need to pack.
Yeah.
But these are things I can do.
Yeah, and then
Because I don't work tomorrow. Don't work for the next 2 weeks. Woo!
look at you.
I'm going to be napping up a storm.
So proud of
Just
you.
sleeping every moment I can.
This is the life of an influencer, guys.
Yeah. I'm going to be not influencing at all.
Sure. Watch Janet triple down when two game ads.
Jesus.
Oh,
I need a real apology from her real camp. That's what I want. That is what I want for my vacation, is for Janet to be like, hey.
It's so insane that her brother came out and was just like, actually, she doesn't apologize.
Can you imagine?
I can't.
Like, just take the goodwill.
The ending of The Substance I loved because I love that stuff. But the scene where she's getting more fluid. Yeah. There's fluids.
It didn't sound like one for me, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, it's really, and like stunning to look at. Like, it's really something.
Have fun in Spain. Thank you, Grace. I'll try my best. I think I will have a good time. I'm just excited.
You think? You're not sure.
You never know. I need a real apology and a donation. I would love both of those. Oh, but we got through a lot of stories this week. A lot of ones that weren't fun to get through.
This was a real.
That was a long one. That's the thing. We got leaving them with a big banger episode. You know, this should last 2 weeks for people.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
I feel like it's a long one too. We went well over an hour.
I can't wait to see what you and Travis do.
Oh no, it won't sound pretty because
sound good.
Oh, I do have those little clippy microphones.
Those little clippy mics, yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited for that.
We'll see.
How
does it compare to Saw? Oh, I haven't seen Saw in years. I mean, it's definitely prettier than Saw in certain aspects. I originally thought Janet mistook Kamala for Meghan Markle. She even talking about?
I don't know what she was talking about.
I don't know.
Can I get a TikTok supercut of Substance on this one? I haven't requested a song review on Patreon. Can I request you during doing a 2 gay minutes next week? I need my BB update. Like Matt Steele doing one? Like doing a patron only 2 gay minutes? I guess you can ask him.
I mean, I'll fit. I mean, honestly, like this week on Big Brother is not super eventful.
Okay.
So I imagine I'll be able to squeeze it in. We're at the point, like squeeze it like 2 weeks in.
Totally.
Just because we're at the point now where it's like final 7. This is where the game slows the fuck down and it becomes much more boring.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like I can squeeze it in. If I can't, I'll just talk over Matt Palmer. I have no qualm.
Looking forward to that.
When is Matt going to quit the restaurant? Great question.
When we have more patrons. Go to patreon.com/2gameads. See you there.
Don't guilt the people.
I'm not guilting. I'm answering the question. I'm answering the question. That's when I would quit my job, is when we had enough patrons.
Oh, it's going to be a great day.
It really is.
I mean, I love the people I work with.
Yeah.
It's a great place to work.
And I'm, very happy to be gainfully employed. I am not, knocking that at all. Mm-hmm. But having to, I think this is now a job, and having 2 jobs is not easy.
This is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Yeah. But also like the restaurant, it's just like my wrist is starting to hurt from scooping ice cream for 12 years.
Yeah. Has it been ice cream the whole time? Like, have you been behind the bar?
I've been behind the bar the whole time, where I like make shakes and just scoop all the ice cream.
Interesting. I don't know that I knew that.
Yeah, sucks. I mean, when I started, I was a host, and then I went to like takeout, and then I went quickly to behind the bar. But there's a new AI thing in today's episode. Didn't finish it, so don't know completely what it is.
Oh, different than Big Brother. It sounds like, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's a new AI thing in today's episode.
It's not AI
Arena.
Oh,
are you thinking about Zingbot, Christian? Zingbot isn't, because I know Zingbot is in today's episode. Zingbot's not an AI thing. Zingbot is a little robot that pops up every season since like season 13, I want to say. It's like a Big Brother tradition.
Right.
They need to retire it. It like comes and it like roasts all the remaining house guests. And I'm just like, oh, this just kind of eats airtime.
I see.
Well,
if it's in the final 7, they got to do something, right?
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, Zingbot's not AI. Zingbot's there every year.
All right, guys. Time to go.
It's time to vacation.
Time for vacay. We love you.
We'll still be on the Discord.
Yes,
yeah.
We will. Are you guys going to react to Kylie's new album coming out soon? Probably not. Tension 2 doesn't really sound like a real new album.
Do you want to react to Warriors when it comes out?
I would do that.
That would be cool.
But it's, I think, patron only or for the people?
I think for the people.
Oh, okay.
Why not? likes us.
He does like us. He does like us.
I thought there was an AI in today's Chicken Nuts podcast. I was like, what?
Yeah, I'm AI this week.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If I figured that out, if I figured how to pull that off.
That'd be amazing. I thought there was AI in today's 2GM podcast, and I was like, what? Yep. It's all AI. Have a safe flight. Thank you. Palmer doing a duo. What am I doing a duo for? Oh, it's true. I'm going to be on vacation for every week now. Traveling Mercies, Matt P. Oh, thank you. I'm very excited. It's going to be a great trip, and I'm excited to see you guys when I get back.
I've never heard that phrase.
I haven't either, but I assume it's positive.
Mercies. Lord have mercy on Matt Palmer when he's sitting on that flight for a long period of time. Yes, Reactor Warrior. I think that's a cool October listening party.
I like that. All right, we'll make it happen. What Mariah said, should make it happen.
Wow, we're doing like a musical theater.
I mean, we've done 11 musical theater reviews on the fucking Patreon, so we might as well.
Oh, only 11. Oh, a whole 11.
I mean, because you keep begging for them. We haven't done a glitter fucking review. We've done Babylon and musicals. And what about me? What about
you? We'll be doing Sound of Music movies soon. Yes. And you're like, oh, this is about Nazis. And it's like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's dark. All right. Bye.
Bye.
We
Have
love
a great one.
Bye.